Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto absorbed Kekkei Genkai. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. Naruto ran as fast as his little legs could carry him. He hoped he could escape the mob at least until someone helped him. But today the mob never grew smaller. Instead it grew bigger. Why? Why is it always me? Why do they hurt me? I didn't hurt anyone. Inside Naruto the great Kyuubi chuckled darkly. Long have I suffered imprisonment by this foolish mortal. Soon I will be free again. As for you human scum, you won't die. Oh no, I have a much harsher fate for you. Hehehehe. Finally Naruto was cornered in dead end and the mob approached. Naruto considered himself lucky to pass out after being tortured only for 1 hour. Inside Naruto's mind, where am I? Am I dead? No foolish ninja, you are not. Soon though you will wish you were. What? Who are you? Asked a trembling Naruto after seeing these huge, bloodthirst-filled eyes. Me? Ha 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 ninja, you amuse me. You must be stupider than I thought. I am the mighty Kyuubi no Kitsune. What? That's impossible. Yondaime killed you. Ha 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 fool. As if a mere ninja like him could stop me. He merely sealed me in you. Look at the seal, fool. Thanks to these fools I am finally breaking free. Oh, don't look so terrified. You won't die. I won't? Of course not. That would be kind of me. No, you won't die. Instead I will consume your soul and make you watch as I destroy everything you hold dear. No, I won't let it happen. As if you can avoid it, fool. I am a demon lord. The demon lord. Defeating a child like you will be easy. Now feel my fury. Kyuubi lashed out through the seal, hitting Naruto and sending him crashing into a wall. Ha 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 ha, see foolish child? Neither in the material nor in the mental world can you defeat me. Even in your own mind. It hurts so much. Why do I suffer so much? Why can't I? Naruto then saw 4 figures appear before him. Iruka stepped out and said, "Try your best, Naruto," reminding him of the time he first taught him how to mold chakra. Teuchi and Ayame stepped forth and said, "Come on Naruto-kun. Don't be afraid, you'll do great." Encouraging him like that first day he told them he was going to the ninja academy. Last stepped out Sarutobi and smiling gently said, "Don't give up Naruto-kun. I believe in you," smoking his pipe as he consoled Naruto after he failed an exam. Naruto looked at his precious people and remembered all they had done for him. All the strength they had given him. And resolve finally started showing in his eyes. Ha 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 ha, foolish human, what can you do? I will devour you and destroy everything. I will especially torture that foolish old man and the daughter of the ramen shop you love so much. You will see their torture. I will annihilate everything you hold dear. No, I will not give up. Because this is my ninja way. So fuck you, stupid fox. You want to fight? By Kami you'll get one. Yelled Naruto. Suddenly the world around them changed. Gone was the sewer. Now they stood on top of a mountain surrounded by lightning. Kyuubi watched surprised at this change. He didn't expect this. Naruto on the other hand remembered what a man named Inoichi once told him. So da, kor wa or no kokara no nakada, kono basho no kami wa or da. That's it, this place is inside my mind. I am the god of this place. Or wa zet akiramin, or wa zet makin, or wa ome otaosu. Yelled Naruto. I will not give up. I will not lose. I will defeat you. Ha foolish human, what do you think you can do? Said Kyuubi, still not understanding what Naruto learned. Simple, you stupid fox. In this place he is God. In this place everything is possible if he so desires, said a new voice as a man appeared. He had a Junin vest, golden hair and bright blue eyes. He looked like an older, more mature version of Naruto with a flame-styled cloak on. Hello Naruto. In case you didn't recognize me, I am Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. We'll talk more later. Now beat up that stupid fox. Okay, come on fox, let's fight, shouted Naruto as he grew in size and created a sword made of light on his hand. Demon and child clashed and tore at each other. Again and again Kyuubi tore into Naruto, but he couldn't kill the child. It slowly dawned to him that he had failed. He could have easily escaped, but his pride demanded he punish the impudent child. And after initiating such a fight there was no way to back off. It was all or nothing. And in the end he got nothing. After the titanic battle ended, Naruto started absorbing the Kyuubi. Yondaime rushed to his side. Well done, Naruto. Or should I say son? Sarutobi never told you, but you are my son and you have made me proud. Not only by defeating the demon, by also staying pure against these maddened villagers. I never wished it to come to this, my son. I thought they'd see you as a hero. As for why the old man never told you, it was to protect you from my enemies. Sigh, my time is running out, son. I am glad to have seen you. Me too, Dad. Thanks for the vote of confidence, said Naruto and hugged his dad. Suddenly Naruto fell on his knees gasping. Son, what's wrong? Too much. The Kyuubi's power is too much. I can't control it. Quadruple A arg. No, son, hang on. It's okay, Dad. I think I need the fox back. Don't worry, you'll see. After all, I am God here. Light shone and Kyuubi was restored. What happened? Simple Kyuubi, I still need you. Your power is too much for me to contain. Not now, not ever. Your knowledge and memories alone would have made me mad. So I brought you back. Now here's the deal, Fox. You will no longer be filled with bloodlust. You will retain your previous existence and shall from now on guard me and my children. You will teach and guide them through a life filled with kindness. You will give them your chakra and protect them. In return, you will not die unless there is no other child of mine alive. As Naruto spoke, his words were engraved into the Kyuubi's soul. Kyuubi lost his bloodlust. He now was connected with Naruto and saw and felt the world through him. Thus the Lord of Demons felt something new, compassion and kindness in its purest forms. I don't have much of a choice now, do I? Nevertheless, I accept. I can't get out even if I wanted to. Good to know, Kyuubi. Yoroshiku. Pleased to work with you. Hey kid, can you do something about this place? I prefer it to the damned sewer, but I'd rather have a forest. And some game to hunt. Maybe a vixen or 3. In return, I'll give you a gift. Why not? Here you go. And the world changed again into a lush forest with a lake. Small game ran around and a female fox stepped forward. Aw, thanks kid. Here's the gift. A summoning scroll for my demon clan. Sign it, but don't summon them without thought. While some of them are nice, many of them are like my old self and may not obey you. Thanks me if you need something else. Since we're partners now, I'll take care of you, you know. So Dad, it's been nice to meet you. Even though I'm kinda angry at the whole deal, but I'll deal with it. Hee, that's my son. For what it's worth, son. I'm sorry, but I had no other choice. Besides, who else would I trust other than my own son? Said the Yondaime as he ruffled Naruto's hair. Of course Kyuubi couldn't help but butt in a barely audible whisper. So cute. I'm gonna puke. Of course the two blondes heard him and laughed it off. Naruto hugged his dad one last time before Yondaime disappeared into nothingness. Kid, I think it's time to wake up. I'll make a mental link so we can talk easier. Oh, and you know you were kind of stupid before, right? And had crappy control? Well, that was kind of my doing. Even the seal couldn't completely hold me back. So I messed up with you in order to make you weak. Then you'd have to call on my power and maybe set me free. But since our last fight proved I can't get out ever, might as well make it as comfortable as possible. Anyway, I'll restore your mind to its previous state and repair your control. There's also something else. Due to the chakra that was unleashed, your physical body was changed. To what degree I don't know yet. We'll have to check it out after you wake up. Off you go now, kid. Thanks Q. See you later, EH. And Naruto woke up to a plain white room, lying on a bed. An IV drop was hanging on his arm. In front of him sat a sleeping Iruka, watching over the child he so much cared for. Naruto slowly regained movement of his arms and looked around. He checked his body, trying to find the alterations Kyuubi mentioned. Mentally he called to the fox. Hey furball, there's nothing wrong with me. Or so it seems. Figured anything on your side? No kid, but something's certainly different. Better sleep while I take a closer look. I'll tell you in the morning if I find out. Okay, back to sleep I guess. And Naruto dozed off to sleep again. Naruto woke up early in the morning, still on the hospital bed. Wakey Q. So did you find anything? A few things really. Well, you know my chakra is poisonous to humans, right? Well, you might have developed a resistance to it with me sealed inside and all, but it's not immunity. Now the problem is that my chakra has destabilized your DNA. If my assumptions are correct, your unstable DNA can be controlled by your conscious mind. In other words, you may be able to shift your form. What I did notice is a practically infinite capacity for evolution. This means that while you grow older and more experienced, you will be able to change your form in many ways. It also seems to have improved your natural healing capacity. Another nice thing is that it is reactive to external stimulus. Before you go acting all weird, let me explain. Whenever you make a exerting motion, your muscles get stronger, right? That's how you train. Well, in your case the improvement comes hundreds of times faster, and from what I see the capacity is much, and I seriously mean much, greater than any human. The more you practice, the faster you'll get stronger. Not only that, but while humans have a maximum of strength, your maximum is many times bigger than anyone I've met. Your bones are also much more dense and your skin harder to pierce. In short, whatever doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Quite literally. The last thing I found is that it acts like a Kekkei Genkai. You will pass it down to your children along with me. Kid, one thing however. Maybe we should seal me in this new Kekkei Genkai so that your kids won't be summoning my chakra recklessly. I was thinking until they are 12 years old or I release the seal. On the same note, I will be able to maintain the seal so any black sheep that come out won't be able to abuse your Kekkei Genkai. So, you're saying I'll be able to get real strong, real fast and change my shape depending on what I want to do. How do I do that? Try focusing on it. I'd suggest transforming your hands to claws. I'll help you from my side as well as monitor whatever happens in your body. Also, best not to call on my chakra for a while. While your resistance to it has increased, best not to risk it unless it's real bad, okay? Okay, so I focus on my hands becoming claws. Let's see. Naruto focused on his hands changing into claws. He had already decided on the look. His fingers would become longer and instead of nails he would have 30 centimeters long black claws. After focusing and with Kyuubi giving him advice, he managed to shift them slowly yet steadily. Okay kid, you've done it. The change was real slow, but mostly because you didn't know how to do it. Next time it will be much easier and faster. Now change them back and wait, that teacher of yours. We'll have to give some explanations. You're right. Gigi will have to know about this and our deal. I just hope he doesn't take it too hard. Naruto shifted his claws back to normal and gently woke up Iruka. After telling him he felt fine, he asked for Sandame. After a little bit the aged Hokage entered the room visibly worried. After giving his figurative grandson a hug, he asked Iruka to get outside. Gigi, could you please set up a sort of sound barrier? I don't want people listening. Oh, and I think you should call that blonde-haired guy that helped me the last time. Inoichi, I think he was called. The one that got in my mind. I can, but why should I, Naruto-kun? Because Gigi, it's about my tenant. What? How do you know about him? I met him. I'll tell you about it, but could you please ask Inoichi-san to come over? You won't believe what I'm gonna say unless he's here. Very well, Naruto-kun, I will. You just stay here, okay? With that the Sandame left and called for Inoichi. The blonde mind walker entered with the Hokage looking surprised. Well, Naruto-kun, will you tell me and Inoichi why you need us here? As soon as you secure this room, Ji-san. I don't want anyone learning before it's time. After the aged Hokage applied the seals, Naruto explained them about the fight between him and Kyuubi. The greatest surprise though came when he told them about his parents. Especially the look on Inoichi's face was unbelievable. At the end of the story, Naruto asked Inoichi to enter his mind to confirm this. When Inoichi returned from his trip inside Naruto's mind, he looked too shaken to speak. A kind and friendly Kyuubi. Kami, I never thought I'd see that. Naruto, while I am happy you made it and proud that you remembered what I told you about your mindscape. What the hell were you thinking going into that fight? I know it wasn't completely your fault, but was there any way you could have avoided it? I'm afraid not, Inoichi-san. I couldn't. Once such a fight begins, it cannot end unless one of the two is defeated and devoured. Now there's another thing I got to tell you. Besides Kyuubi becoming my Kekkei Genkai of sorts, I also acquired another one. It is because of him but not linked to him otherwise. Because of Kyuubi's chakra my body has become unstable in a sense. My strength, speed, agility and reflexes will improve much faster. Also I will heal much faster than before. From what Kyuubi told me, unless you rip out my heart, decapitate me or sustain constant heavy trauma, I am pretty much unkillable. I can take a sword through the lungs and I won't even slow down apart from the pain that is. Another cool thing is that I can change my form. I managed to make claws out of my hands, Probably because Kyuubi had claws as well, so it's kind of easy. I don't know what else I can do though. Kyuubi also told me it will pass down to any children I will have. He also advised sealing them away. Imagine a baby summoning Kyuubi's chakra because it wasn't fed in time. He said setting the release at 12 years of age unless the Kyuubi wills it earlier or if Kyuubi deems a child unworthy of it. So now you have not one but two Kekkei Genkais and Kyuubi is friendly. Now I got to tell the council. No, that's why I didn't want anyone else to know. I trust you too, but the rest of the council? No way. They'll probably force me to marry many girls they choose and then take my children away so they can control me. So no, don't tell anyone, Ji-san. Just give me a new apartment since my old one got torched last night, give me some scrolls on chakra and keep it low. I don't want anyone learning of what happened. Tell them that because of the beating an idiot with a mask with a root kanji on it used a chakra-infused blade on my seal, almost setting the Kyuubi free. Only thing that kept it in was my willpower. Tell them the seal is damaged and impossible to repair. It should scare them from attacking me again for fear of the seal breaking, and it's not that far from the truth. Besides, it'll get you some leverage against that crippled guy. Danzo was his name? Yeah, anyway, if they hear it was me that kept the Kyuubi from leveling this place, and it still is, maybe some of them will shut up. Don't tell them of my parents yet either. They'll just try to suck me up, and I don't have your patience, old man. Oh, and could you tell me where I can find an abandoned training ground? I want to get stronger. Much stronger. So no one will suffer like I did ever again. Both men were stunned by the child's declaration but accepted the truth of his words. Excusing himself, Inoichi left, thinking mostly on how to get his daughter to stop chasing after the Uchiha and see that there are people much better out there. Sandaime for his part went to apply the seals on Naruto, showing him and Kyuubi on how to do it as well. After all was said and done, Naruto left with Sarutobi to get the scrolls, a key to his new apartment and directions to his new training grounds. Unsurprisingly, Naruto's new apartment was very close to Sandaime's house. Few would dare get there, so it was much safer. Naruto got some scrolls on basic chakra control, at which he literally sucked since no one taught him even how to read and write. After that, Sandaime left with Naruto to show him his new training grounds behind the Hokage mountain. When Naruto got there, he formed his claws and showed them to an amazed Hokage. These are my claws. Cool, huh? They're pretty sharp too. I gotta practice on them though. It takes me some time of concentration to make them, but I'll try to reduce the time. Kyuubi also said he'll help with my fighting skills. Anyway, better start training. And with that, Naruto started a variety of exercises at Kyuubi's command. After watching Naruto train for a while, Sandaime left and returned to his office, relieved somewhat about the fact Naruto would now grow stronger. At his office, he wrote a letter and summoned a carrier monkey and had it deliver it to his old student Jiraiya. After that was over, he turned to his old enemy, paperwork, and started his work. Naruto for his part, after he finished his warm-up, started practicing how to form other things. After consulting with Kyuubi, he found that he had a maximum of potential changes that he had exhausted. The more he practiced and older he got, however, the more this potential would increase. In other words, now he only had his claws and no other ability. He would have to work hard to acquire any new powers. Never one to shirk from practice or take all things for granted, Naruto got to work. After a while, he considered altering his face and shape, creating a disguise of sorts. Naruto spent the rest of his evolution potential in order to be able to shift between his normal, blue-eyed blonde whiskered form and his disguise, a dark-haired, brown-eyed boy of his age. This way he could finally enter a store without people trying to kill him every chance they got. After a few days of this routine, Kyuubi came across a discovery. Naruto could absorb other beings' DNA by eating said being. What this did is hasten the evolutionary potential of Naruto by a little bit, but only concerning abilities that are related with what he consumed. If he absorbed a bird's DNA, then he would increase his evolution abilities, but only when it came to forming clawed feet, wings, or improved eyesight in some cases. Naruto swore to never absorb a human's DNA since absorbing DNA required the victim be freshly killed and eaten raw. He could deal with eating an animal if it was absolutely necessary, but a human? No way in hell. So Naruto spent his mornings going to the academy and his afternoons training on his own. Even his pranks lessened, though they never disappeared. Naruto for his part listened to Kyuubi's suggestion of developing non-combat related abilities. First on his list was wings and maybe improving his eyesight. Of course Naruto spent a lot of time under his disguise, when outside the academy and the training grounds that is, since that way no one recognized or attacked him. It was especially fun starting a prank as Naruto and then escaping the area in his changed form. Even Kyuubi congratulated him on the sheer genius of some of the pranks. One of the best was when Naruto briefed the Hokage on his shape-changing abilities. By changing in front of him without warning, poor old man almost had a heart attack. After being put at ease by the fact that Kyuubi was constantly monitoring Naruto's body for adverse effects, however, he relaxed a bit. Naruto also changed his wardrobe. Now he wore either black and red, as they were Kyuubi's main colors are black and dark orange. Retaining his previous exuberant behavior, he started picking on people in front of their eyes. One of his favorites was Mizuki when he tried using genjutsu on him one day. Mizuki applied a genjutsu seal on Naruto's paper when he handed them. After Naruto saw through it with Kyuubi's help, he laughed loudly, drawing Iruka's and Mizuki's attention. After being asked what was wrong, Naruto spoke. "Impressive, Mizuki-sensei. You've placed a genjutsu seal on my test. Obviously you want to test my alertness in expecting the impossible, correct? I mean, who could ever expect a genjutsu on a test? Well done, Mizuki-sensei. I almost fell for that. Great exercise too. I will request this become part of your teaching so we remain on our toes." Such a great idea. Of course Mizuki was seething inside while he tried his best not to attack the insolent boy and instead congratulated Naruto for seeing through his ruse. Iruka on the other hand was surprised and asked Naruto about, getting a reply of, "If you can trick your friends you can trick anyone," and that's what he did. Some asked Naruto how he improved so much, so fast, to which he answered, "Deception is a shinobi's best friend. I have deceived you as being an idiot when I'm anything back. Didn't any of you consider the possibility of me holding back? Much like Shino does. My real level is much higher than any of you. I simply chose to hide it for a while. Now however, due to certain events I have stopped holding back. This is the real me. Take it or leave it." Ya nay. Before jumping on the rooftops, leaving many wondering just who Naruto really was. Overall Naruto's life was great and was improving. And he loved it. Almost 5 years have passed since the fateful day when Naruto acquired his new powers. He never stopped training either his bloodline or his ninja skills. Thanks to Kyuubi he was able to not only keep up with everyone else but to also surpass them. You see, even though Kyuubi did fix the intentional mess he made of Naruto's chakra coils, Naruto still had inordinate amounts of chakra in him, making his control his greatest weakness. Thanks to Kyuubi, however, he managed to learn tree walking and water walking in order to help. His genjutsu skills still sucked, though it was pretty damn hard to get him under an illusion, thanks to Kyuubi's interference. His ninjutsu also were rather low compared to clan members, since Kyuubi never used chakra for ninjutsu. He preferred direct chakra manipulation, which however was impossible with human chakra. Naruto's bloodline had also improved, now having acquired 3 new powers. His favorite was his ability to create bat's wings from his back, allowing him to glide for short distances, even though Kyuubi said it was a matter of time before he evolved them again and gained true flight. Because of that, Naruto rarely wore something heavier than a muscle t-shirt, much to the enjoyment and embarrassment of a certain Hyuga girl. Naruto has also long since acquired 2 dujutsu. They were dujutsu simply because they altered his sight though. The first he used rarely, mostly because there was rarely need of it. It was the ability to shift his eyes to that of an eagle. Even though colors became duller this way, his eyesight increased dramatically, acquiring a sort of telescopic vision when he focused on something. One of his favorite pastimes with this was reading Sandame's Icha books from the comfort of his house and then reciting them to the aged Hokage, preferably with the other perv named Kakashi. This has also led to more than a couple of beatings for the poor perv by Anko, since she believed he was teaching a kid such perverse literature. Naruto's other dujutsu was thermal sight, allowing him to see through walls, which was more than a bit helpful for someone as paranoid as Naruto. During his time at the academy, he pretty much held back on everything except taijutsu. Why? Because the Uchiha was constantly challenging him, and getting promptly beaten to the ground. For once not even Kyuubi could answer Naruto's question of if Sasuke was a gay masochist. Of course when Naruto expressed this out loud, it took all of Kyuubi's healing capabilities for Naruto to not die at the hands of fangirls. In his off time Naruto liked flying above Konoha. He's gliding really, but with the strength he has in jumps it takes so long to land again that it seems like flight, watching the busy streets. This habit of his started a couple of years ago. Flashback 2 years and 3 months ago. Naruto was thrilled. He had finally acquired his thermal vision. Currently he was out for a stroll along the roofs. Since the buildings were warm, even though it was currently night, he could easily look around him. Meanwhile Anko was stumbling home after getting drunk with her friend Kurenai. That is until some hands shot out of the shadows and grabbed her, pulling her in a small alleyway. The person that grabbed her violently struck her head on the wall, further dizzying the drunk Junin. Then he threw her on the wall before a male voice spoke. Well, if it isn't the loyal snake bitch. Hey, and she calls herself a Konoha shinobi. You're just a servant of that traitor Orochimaru. Today you'll die bitch and we'll be heroes. But not before we have some fun with you. It would be such a waste to not enjoy this body of yours. Ha ha ha. The man that proceeded to try and rip off her clothes. Keyword tried. Because no sooner had he taken a step forth when a small shadow landed in front of him. From the little moonlight that fell on the figure it had golden blonde hair and striking blue eyes. Eyes that held such fury and hate that the would-be rapists involuntarily took a step back. It was obvious that it was a kid, but these eyes were as cold as mountains peak in winter and as hard as diamonds. Naruto rarely felt angry. Even when he was beaten as a kid, he wasn't really angry. He was mostly sad or scared. But now he was angry. Emotions not felt for a long time surfaced. Fury, wrath the likes of which he never thought he had burst forth. Memories of the beatings and hate he had suffered flashed through his mind's eye. Even Kyuubi inside of him called for the blood of these animals. Naruto almost without realizing it called forth his claws. For what you were going to perform there is only one punishment. Death. And in a flash Naruto charged the men. Their leader didn't realize exactly why he felt so much pain in his lungs, until he noticed that the child's claws had ripped open his torso, pretty much ripping his lungs and intestines out with them. As he fell he could only mumble the only thought he had in his mind. Demon. This word more than adequately described Naruto's visage to the others. Covered in blood but otherwise unchanged, his eyes seemed like two damning orbs ready to unleash heavenly judgment upon them. Survival instincts kicked in and they tried to charge the demon to kill it. Fools. Before Anko's muddled sight, a massacre unfolded. Naruto, with all the grace of a fox, jumped, dodged, parried and weaved through the men's blows. Ducking under a kunai thrust he rolled under the man, rising in an uppercut slice, cutting the man to ribbons. Turning around he used his left hand to parry a pipe before stabbing its owner through the heart. No sooner than that, he jumped over the two remaining thugs and in a show of acrobatic skill turned upside down in the air and rotated his body, lashing out with his claws at the men's heads, taking out the rapist trying to run away. Landing in the only exit to the dead end, he locked eyes with the remaining thug before charging him, claws opened at the sight. With timed precision he sidestepped the terrified man's stabbing motion, pivoted on his left leg while simultaneously lowering his body, in essence making a small spin with him sitting on his left leg. During that spin he lashed out with his claws, taking out the man's right leg, who fell down with a cry of pain. The fight, if one would call that, lasted less than a minute. Anko blinked. What the fuck? Due to the sheer shock, her drunkenness had disappeared. Naruto turned to her, retracting his claws. The last man groaned. Naruto turned to him, picked up the pipe and smashed it on the man's jaw, last knee, arms and genitals. The first was to not report what happened. The next to were so he couldn't escape. The last was punishment for rape. Anko looked at the child in slight fear. That is until he saw his eyes. With the battle excitement gone his eyes softened. He looked at her in concern. Are you injured, miss? Wha? No, not much. Who are you? Konoha's resident demon brat, miss. Let me tie this bastard up so he doesn't bleed to death and I'll take you to the hospital. Naruto then took off the man's shirt and tied up the wound. Needless to say he wasn't very kind in his treatment. Turning to the downed Anko, who was slowly trying to get up, he offered his hand. Come on, miss. Hospital awaits. It's not Miss. It's Anko. Mitarashi Anko. Remember it, brat. Okay, Anko-san. Let's go. Picking her bridal style, he took off, leaving Anko staring at the raw strength he seemed to possess. After landing safely in front of the hospital, he took her inside, where she was admitted. It was then she found out his name was Uzumaki Naruto. It was later that night that Sandaime visited her and explained her some things, though that she understood who he was. As for Naruto, after taking an anbu to secure the wounded man and clear the site of the massacre, he went home. Only then did he allow the full extent of what he did sink in. Naruto wept for hours for his lost innocence, but thankfully he had Kyuubi to help him deal with it. Sarutobi though did visit him at some point to give him a human perspective on the matter of killing. Flashback end. Ever since that day, Naruto found a new friend in Anko who visited him sometimes and helped him train. Both outcasts by the people they tried to protect, found a friend in each other. Apart from Sandaime, she was the only person to know the extent of Naruto's powers. She also told him of Kurenai's dream of making a scouting team. It was a few weeks before the final exams. Naruto had little problems apart from the stupid Bunshin jutsu. Thanks to Kyuubi, it was clear as to why he had trouble, though he didn't know how to correct it, as he never used ninjutsu of any kind. Naruto was now on his way to Sandaime's office. He wanted to know where he would be placed. As soon as he got there under his disguise, which he had named Uryu, he got past the secretary and entered the aged Hokage's office. "Ohio Hokage-sama, can I speak to you in private?" "Of course Uryu-kun. Anbu, leave us alone." With that, he placed a sound barrier in the room before continuing, "Well now Naruto-kun, what is it?" "You see Gigi, I was wondering what team I would be placed at. Thanks to Anko I found out some things. I was thinking of placing you in Kakashi's squad. He will have the Uchiha and the highest scoring kunoichi. Yeah, well, I am not going in a squad with the emo prick. If you put me there I'll kill him. I don't care what the council says, I'm not going there. But Kakashi is Yondaime's student. Surely he will teach you a lot. Maybe, but probably not. The council has too much power, Gigi. Besides, I know how lazy he is. No, I'd rather have another teacher. And I know just who. Is that so, Naruto-kun? And why should I, the Hokage, listen to an academy student like you?" Sandaime of course had every intention of listening to Naruto, but he also liked prodding him in conversations. Kami knew he was one of the very, very few people in Konoha that could actually hold an intelligent conversation. Between Danzu's schemes and the council's retardedness, the aged man took every chance he got at some serious conversation. "Because first of all, I won't work with the Uchiha. I have no rivalry with him because I know I'm better. It will be a one-sided rivalry and simply hold us both back. Second, I know who the top-scoring kunoichi is. She's Haruno Sakura, a deadweight, a fangirl. She will do nothing and expect me or Sasuke to save her, and knowing Sasuke, it will be me risking life and limb for my teammates. Sorry, but I can't do that. Not only that, but because she is a fangirl, she will always follow the Uchiha's commands. Not to mention she hates me for some reason. Every time I try talking to her, as a sign of kindness, she tries to hit me. So no, that team is no good for me. However, I know one team I would fit in. Kurenai's team." "Oh? And why would you fit in Kurenai's team? And how do you know her team anyway?" "Anko is Kurenai's best friend Gigi. I know she wants a scout team, and I know she wants Inuzuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata and Aburame Shino in her team. I however can replace Kiba. I can't replace Hinata because of her Byakugan. I can't replace Shino's ability to track anyone he's ever met before. I can however replace Kiba. Thanks to Kyuubi, I have developed my tracking skill in the same areas as Kiba at about his skill as well. However, I also possess tracking skills that he doesn't. Thanks to my wings and eyes I can fly over an enemy before engaging and silently watch them. Also, as you know, my fighting capabilities are far greater than Kiba. Last but not least, you're aware of Hinata's confidence problem, correct? Well, she has a crush on me, and I don't deny the fact that I do like her. Maybe not love or a crush, since I don't have anything to compare my feelings with, but I do care for her. That way I will probably be able to help her confidence. Well done, Naruto-kun. Your diplomatic skills are improving constantly. As is your reasoning. There's one problem though. Kakashi has requested you. Yes, well, he outranks Kurenai as well, but he doesn't outrank you. Explain everything to him. He probably believes I will strike up a rivalry with the Uchiha, which I am not going to. That or he might try to make it up to Yondaime or something, since I am his son and look so much like him. That is if he doesn't know I'm his son. At any rate, Kakashi's team with me and will not work out. Kiba might be a better choice there. He has the whole alpha male mentality that will make him strike a rivalry with Sasuke. Not only that, but he also probably has lightning affinity. I on the other hand have wind. Now could you call Kurenai and Anko so we can finalize this? Of course. Amy-san, please call for Yuhi Kurenai and Mitarashi Anko here immediately. The Hokage asked his secretary through the comlink. Comlink. Communications link, highly sophisticated device that allows for communications over some distance. The sophistication part lies on the fact it is practically impossible to tap into and listen to conversations. After a few minutes Kurenai and Anko walked it, Anko still eating a dango stick. After greeting the Hokage, Anko ruffling Naruto's hair, they asked why they have been called in. The aged professor reset the sound barrier before he started speaking. You remember some 5 years ago when there was a blast of Kyuubi's chakra? Remember what I said? Well, it's not entirely true. Naruto, if you please? Very well. As you know, I am the Kyuubi no Jinchuriki. In my gut was stuck the demon that tried to level Konohagakure and was sealed there by the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Now here's what happened that day. Like all my birthdays, I was running from a mob. This time however they seemed pretty determined. They tortured me for about an hour before a rude operative stabbed me on the seal with a chakra-infused blade. Now the seal is very powerful, but also very delicate. In doing so the idiot unleashed Kyuubi. Now in all honesty we all could be dead. Hell we should be. Kyuubi could have gotten free. What happened though is that he didn't want to leave immediately. No, instead he wanted to torture me by devouring my soul. Thus he started a fight in my mindscape. If he won, I'd be absorbed in him for all eternity and watch as he performed unspeakable acts upon those I cared for. However, for all his might Kyuubi miscalculated one small thing. We were in my mindscape, my world, my rules. In my mind I'm God. Thanks to the beatings, Yamanaka Inoichi-san has mind-walked me a lot of times. During those times he taught me a few things. Things I used to defeat the Kyuubi. Now when the Kyuubi got out another fascinating thing happened. You see Yondaime had sealed a sort of clone inside of me, to be activated if the seal ever broke in order to repair it. When the Kyuubi came out he appeared. After the battle was over and I won, I started absorbing the Kyuubi's power, taking it as my own. At that time Yondaime revealed to me one secret. He told me of my parentage. I won't reveal it yet, as I'm not supposed to know. Anyway, after a point the Kyuubi's power became too much. It is a king of all demons. The knowledge he possessed in over 10,000 years of existence would wipe my mind. His power, unable to be held back, would level all of Hai no Kuni. Then his power would enter a random animal and Kyuubi would be reborn. With the newfound power though I prevented it. I brought back the Kyuubi and reformed him. I erased his hatred and bloodlust and tied him to my blood. Kyuubi still exists, but as a sensei to me. A friend I have inside. Thanks to him most genjutsu don't work. I assure you he's quite friendly, more like a grumpier version of Iruka sensei. Being tied to my blood made him sort of my Kekkei Genkai. All my children will house the Kyuubi and will be able to draw power from him. Of course I have placed a number of seals on his power, so taking his power is impossible. Also, as long as more than one of my clan is alive, no one will be able to take Kyuubi away, and that's only one of the benefits of my clan. However, I gained something else as well that day. Kyuubi's Yuki is poison. I, however, since I had him in me, have developed some resistance to it. However, it made my DNA unstable but under mental control. In other words, amongst other stuff I can change my body at will. For example, my disguise Uryu, Naruto shifted to his disguise, enjoyed Kurenai's shocked look before shifting back. I can also form claws as Anko here knows and have developed 2 dojutsu. The first grants me the eagle's sight, while the second allows me to see warmth. Also thanks to Kyuubi I am as capable as any Inuzuka of following a scent. Now the reason you were called here is simple. I want to get in your squad Kurenai-san. I am as capable a tracker as Kiba, have 2 unprecedented bloodlines, can adapt to just about any circumstance, have more chakra, combat capability and last but not least, since Hinata has a crush on me, I can help her get over her confidence issues. Okay. Anko, is he telling the truth? Stammered a shocked Kurenai. Yup, Brat's right. Hey, don't look so freaked, Nai-chan. You haven't seen half of the stuff he can do. Kid's awesome, I tell ya. Yeah, but what about Kakashi? This time Sandame interrupted. Kakashi might outrank you both and Naruto-kun, but I outrank him. If you agree, I can get Naruto-kun in your squad, replacing Kiba. Very well then. Naruto-san, what else can you do? Apart from my disguise, I can form claws. Wings that as of now only allow me to glide, and I possess increased strength, speed and stamina. As of now? What do you mean? You see, my bloodline is kind of unique. It is an evolutionary bloodline. I have a certain potential. The more I train in it, the greater said potential. I can then spend it to acquire said powers. The more drastic a change, the higher it costs. For example, my claws are much more expensive than my disguise. Kyuubi believes that soon I'll have true flight. Now at best I can expend large amounts of wind chakra to keep me flying. See. But why my squad? Kakashi is older, more experienced, and was taught by Yondaime himself. And he's also a pervert, a lazy ass, and constantly late. No. Also, he is forced to teach the Uchiha. One of the few people, along with that bastard Danzo, that I just can't stand. No, I think you'll be better for me. Beside, I also kind of like Hinata, but if I ever made an approach and was found out, well, I have no fear for myself, as it's very hard to kill me, but Hinata? I'd never let anyone hurt her the way they hurt me. This way though, I can be near her and still justify it. Very well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need some sake after hearing all this. And you haven't even heard Naruto's last secret, Nai-chan. But be careful, okay? This is an S-ranked secret. Yes, well, Hokage-sama, Naruto, I'll be off. Anko, you coming? Of course. I'm finally getting you drunk, Nai-chan. Foo. Anko giggled almost perversely as she pretty much dragged Kurenai to the nearest dango stand. Well, Naruto-kun, that went rather well. Now shouldn't you be at home? It's pretty late, you know. Okay, Gigi, see you soon. So Naruto left and headed home. Finally, he was going to be a ninja. First step to gaining people's respect. Now if only his parents were still alive. Pushing these thoughts away, Naruto meditated an hour before going to sleep. A few weeks passed since the talk with Kurenai and the time for the final exams had come. Naruto still hadn't found a way to get past his Bunshin problem. Anko had tried teaching him Tsuchi Bunshin, but he had no talent for it and couldn't learn it for the life of him. Still, Naruto went, with the hope that if he performed well enough in the other parts of the test they'd let him pass. After Naruto got inside, he waved hello to his friends, namely Kiba, Shikamaru and Choji. Glared at one Uchiha. Ignored a pink-haired banshee and smiled at a blushing Hyuga princess. Soon the noise died down as the teachers came in. Naruto always had weird vibes about Mizuki, something Kyuubi reinforced, but since he never had any solid evidence he couldn't do anything. After the written test, which thanks to Kyuubi he aced, was accuracy. Since he chose to stop holding back, he once again scored high, drawing many suspicious looks from some of the people around him, which however were ignored. After that was taijutsu practice. Naruto squared off against Mizuki and defeated his opponent in under 10 seconds, even though Mizuki held back way less than normal. At the ninjutsu portion he was performing well until, now Naruto, I need you to perform some bunshins for me, please. Iruka-sensei, I can't perform bunshins and you know it. Well then Naruto, I'm afraid you'll fail. Wait a second, Iruka-sensei. I practically aced everything else. Besides, there's a reason I can't use Bunshin no Jutsu. I got too much chakra. I go get another jutsu to replace that, but the library always throws me out and I can't exactly go to Hokage-sama and ask him to tutor me. I tried to learn the Tsuchi Bunshin, but my element is opposed, so. Anyway, what use is a mere Bunshin? Makes no sound, has no smell, it's just a waste of chakra. Useless if you ask me. It still is a necessary skill, Naruto, so try it. Okay. Damn it, Iruka-sensei. Bunshin no Jutsu. 3 clones popped, looking dead. Iruka sighed. Naruto, you fail again. I'm sorry. Mizuki, trying to get on the kid's good graces, also apologized. After all was done, Naruto sat outside the academy. It was so stupid. He could use Kaidens and Futons, but of course they needed a simple useless Bunshin. The one skill he never could use. It was stupid and unfair. Swallowing his pride, he moved away before being stopped by Mizuki. Now Naruto, don't be so sad. It's true you didn't pass the Bunshin exam, but since you aced everything else, I managed to pull some strings and we decided to have a make-up exam. There is a scroll in the Hokage library named the Forbidden Scroll. If you get it and bring it to a certain point in the forest, you'll pass as a simulation of a shinobi mission. You'll be showing that you don't actually need the jutsu and still be just as effective. So do you want to take it? Naruto saw the man for who he really was. A traitor. There was no such test or Sandaime would already have had him pass it. However, just an academy student's word against a seasoned chunin? Who except Gigi would believe him? So he had to catch him in the act. Quickly agreeing, Naruto went to Sandaime to tell him what would go on. The day passed and night fell. Naruto, using his thermal sight, evaded the guards inside the compound and snatched the scroll. He knew they wouldn't try too much, but it had to be realistic. Naruto ran to the woods when Kyuubi's voice echoed in his head. Hey kid, since you have the scroll, how about learning one of the jutsu inside? They are bound to be strong and you'll need a strong jutsu to fight that traitor off. Even as you are, you won't beat him easily. He's not a chunin for nothing. That and his chakra seems strange, corrupted in a way. He also always held back a lot. Better learn a jutsu and be safe rather than draw on my chakra. Since you've never needed it, we don't know what will happen if you do. It could kill everyone if it goes out of control. You're right, Q. Besides, it'll prove to everyone I'm really capable and not some dead last. Naruto came to a clearing, sat down and started reading. He read the first jutsu on the scroll, Kekkei Bunshin. It was an impressive jutsu, no control was needed, just a lot of chakra, and Naruto knew he had tons of it. Also, the secondary abilities of the Kekkei Bunshin were most interesting. So with little time to waste, he got down to learning it. After an hour he had the jutsu down and simply waited for the traitor to show up. Suddenly a noise came from the side and a figure dropped from the trees. Only it wasn't Mizuki. It was Iruka. Naruto, what did you do? I know what I did, Iruka-sensei. I stole the scroll here. Mizuki said I had to in order to pass the exam as a simulation of a shinobi mission. If I could do something that hard, it wouldn't matter what jutsus I knew, they should be enough for a genin. Well, that was his justification. I think he's a traitor. Anyway, I waited here for him, but in the meantime I learned a jutsu. Real cool one too. Ah, here comes Mizuki-sensei. Play dumb, Iruka-sensei. What do you mean, Naruto? Mizuki confidently dropped from the trees. You still don't get what that brat said? Ha, you always were stupid, Iruka. I tricked that baka into getting me the scroll. Now all I have to do is kill you too and get away. What? Mizuki? He's a kid. He's no kid. You know what he is. He's no Mizuki. He's the demon lord Kyuubi. See, Naruto, Kyuubi never died. He was sealed into the shape of a child. Now you know why everyone hates you. And now you'll die. Naruto merely lifted an eyebrow and calmly spoke. Oh, really now? I'm the Kyuubi? Baka, I knew about him for 5 years now. And I'll have you know, he just like a grumpier version of Iruka. Iruka was stunned, as was Mizuki. Mizuki, however, recovered faster and drawing his trusty Fuma shuriken, he threw it at Naruto. Naruto put up his guard and ready to kawarimi when suddenly Iruka jumped in front of him, taking the blow. Mizuki started laughing while Naruto looked in shock. Why, Iruka-sensei? Because you're my student. Sure, the deaths Kyuubi caused were that of a monster, but you're no monster. You're my precious student, a proud Konoha shinobi. Mizuki's laughter grew while Naruto felt his blood boil. Gently putting Iruka down, Naruto walked towards Mizuki while Iruka shouted him to stop. Naruto merely looked over his shoulder. Don't worry about me, Iruka-sensei. A whole village has tried to kill me countless times and I'm still here. I ain't gonna let a piece of shit like Mizuki get away with hurting those precious to me. Oi Mizuki, get off your ass, you bastard. Ha ha ha, what are you going to do, Gaki? Tickle me? No, you jock. I'm gonna break every bone in your body for what you did to Iruka-sensei. Ha, as if. I'm a chunin, but my real skill is almost junin. You won't be able to touch me. Really? Well, how about now? Kekkei Bunshin no Jutsu. Instantly clones of Naruto popped around. Mizuki and Iruka stared in shock. Naruto let a smirk appear. Get him, boys. Battle cries echoed as Mizuki was soundly beaten to a pulp. His skill was great, but the shock and sheer numbers overcame him. Meanwhile Naruto was tending to Iruka's wound. Suddenly a sound rippled through the clearing and then the soft thud of something stabbing flesh. Iruka stared in shock as a huge shuriken hit Naruto on the back. Naruto on the other hand looked annoyed. "Brat, you might have hurt me a lot, but I still have Orochimaru-sama's power. I'll kill you." Out of the shadows leapt a transformed Mizuki. The only thing he had in common with before were his hair. Other than that he looked like a cross between a tiger and a human without the claws. Naruto turned and faced him. Inside he was somewhat scared, but he couldn't let it show. "I see. So that was the taint in your chakra. Kyuubi knew you know. He warned me. But you're not the only one with kick-ass skills, Mizuki. Let me show you exactly why no one beats me these days." Naruto threw a smoke bomb on the ground. Immediately after he activated his thermal sight, enabling him to see Mizuki and formed his claws. Adrenaline rushing through his veins he charged. The smoke-covered area became a battleground. Naruto could easily see Mizuki, but Mizuki was faster, more experienced and used his scent to detect Naruto. Naruto ducked under a swipe and countered at Mizuki's other arm. Using the pain he leapt forth, using his enemy as a springboard and leapt into the air. Quickly twisting his body and extending his arms he became a twister of claws, cutting Mizuki a couple of times before he ducked it. None of the blows were dangerous, except for one that struck over the eyebrow. Mizuki grabbed Naruto by the chest and threw him on a tree. Naruto twisted his body and used the tree as a springboard before launching himself forward, one claw extended, the other cocked back in case he missed. This time he struck true and was rewarded with a cry of pain. Dropping on a handstand, he spun around quickly, knocking Mizuki back with his amazing, for his age, strength. Mizuki charged again, angrier every second since, even with his added speed couldn't kill the demon brat. Naruto, jumping from his handstand, landed on his feet, sidestepped a wild swipe, ducked a second, parried a third, and with his parrying left hand he grabbed Mizuki's hand before bringing his right claw in a swipe and cutting the hand off. Mizuki screamed in pain and stumbled back. Seeing his chance, Naruto readied himself and charged. Mizuki swiped in front of him, but Naruto rolled underneath, twisted around and with his claws cut the muscles and tendons behind Mizuki's legs. Continuing his spin, Naruto used his left claw to strike at Mizuki's spine, while his right hand followed with a powerful punch in Mizuki's temple. Finally the beastified traitor fell unconscious, the pain, shock, blood loss and drug catching up. Naruto disengaged his claws and saw the cloud had almost vanished. Iruka stared in shock. His old friend was a traitor to Orochimaru and tried to kill him. Then the dead last used an advanced Bunshin jutsu and beat him. When the traitor came back stronger and deformed, the same dead last fought Mizuki, a chunin bordering to junin in skill, inside a smoked area. Once again the worst student in the academy was victorious. He couldn't help but wonder. Who was this kid? Nevertheless, Iruka was proud of his student. He fought for all the right reasons. Naruto slowly approached his sensei. "Iruka-sensei, I'm sorry but I had no choice but to fight him and possibly kill him. There is a reason I used the smoke bomb, but Sandame knows about it, so don't worry. Anyway, if you're alright, I'd like to treat the traitor's wounds if he's still alive. After all, the interrogation team will have a lot of questions to ask him." Iruka nodded while Naruto used as much first aid he knew to help Mizuki survive. Anko would certainly have some fun with that traitor. Slowly Iruka came upon the barely breathing body of his former friend. He gasped when he saw the vicious wounds Naruto had inflicted. Mizuki would never be anything more than a cripple now. Even if somehow he got free, he'd still be worth nothing. Suddenly Anbu started emerging. Immediately they got the traitor away as the aged Hokage appeared. Naruto picked up the scroll, kneeled to the Hokage and handed it over. "So Naruto-kun, how was your mission?" "It went well, Hokage-sama. I defeated the traitor and disabled him. The scroll is safe and now I have the one shinobi skill I never could grasp. Now if you would excuse me." "Of course, Naruto-kun. Here's your Hite 8. I'll return the scroll personally. Go get some rest. You've earned it." Naruto nodded and left to go home for a shower and sleep. Iruka on the other hand looked and Sandame. "Hokage-sama, if you excuse me, what did you mean about a mission?" Naruto-kun realized Mizuki's intentions and came right into my office. I gave him a B-rank mission to trick and arrest Mizuki red-handed. Before you ask, yes, I know of Naruto-kun's real level as well as the weapons he used to defeat the traitor, and I assure you he's perfectly fine. If it would ease your mind, call it a Kekkei Genkai in your heart. Regardless of what happened, Naruto-kun is still Naruto-kun, the same boy you met in the academy. He simply held back so as to not draw attention. Also, what occurred here is an S-rank secret and will not be repeated. If anyone asks, Mizuki never changed his form and Naruto's clones defeated him. Now I believe you have to go to the hospital and then get some rest, right? Hi Hokage-sama. The next day Naruto showed up in the academy, his black Hite-8 worn proudly on his head. Ignoring the looks of surprise, he waved to IHS friends and sat down next to Hinata, who promptly went red and nearly fainted. Naruto finished her by smiling kindly at her. After she fainted, Naruto chuckled, with Kyuubi making gagging noises at the cuteness of the whole deal. After waiting for the teacher to enter, Naruto gently woke up Hinata, who almost fainted once again by the contact. After Iruka came in, he congratulated everyone that had passed with his annual and well-practiced speech. A speech that was interrupted by a screeching banshee asking why Naruto was here since he had failed. Naruto just smiled at her before shocking his class. Because Haruno, my failure in the last test, was simply an act. Something I used to capture a Chunin-ranked traitor in a B-ranked mission. In other words, I was promoted by Hokage-sama and ordered to fail. So be silent. Is that true, Iruka-sensei? And why would Naruto Baka take on the mission? It's obvious Sasuke-kun would do a much better job than. Because you banshee the mission required for someone to fail. Or are you stupid and blind as well as ignorant? If your oh so precious Sasuke-kun failed, the mission would have failed since it would make no sense. I on the other hand was perfect. I hid all of my potential and let short-sighted fools like you see only what I wanted you to see. And if you're wondering, I solo took down a Junin-ranked shinobi. Iruka-sensei can confirm it since he was there. Huh, I knew it. You had Iruka-sensei fight for you while you hid like the dead last you are. Haruno Sakura, be silent or I will fail you. Now as Naruto said, I was there. However, I was careless and was injured at the spine before the start of the battle. Naruto not only defended me, but he also protected the village treasure, Forbidden Scroll, learned a B-ranked jutsu and defeated an enemy that would have made short work of me. So sit down now. Oh Naruto, I forgot to thank you last night with what went on. Want to go for ramen later? Might treat. Sure Iruka-sensei. After I meet my team though. Sakura once again jumped in. So what? Sasuke-kun would have done so much better. Iruka, still feeling pain from yesterday, had the last of her ranting. Haruno. Sit down now. Naruto's a hero. He was personally chosen by the Hokage and has skills you wouldn't imagine if you saw them. Naruto here could defeat your Sasuke-kun. Any day with little difficulty, even if he had the Sharingan. So shut up and sit down. But, this time Kiba interfered. Naruto's got blood scent on him. It is like Mizuki's but also like a cat. Naruto corrected him. Tiger to be exact. But yeah, the traitor was Mizuki. Sigh. Blood scent is so darn hard to remove once it dries on your skin. Anyway Iruka-sensei, how about we ignore the Banshee and friends and go to team placements? Yes, well, Team 1 is. After 5 minutes or so, Team 7 will be Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, Girlish Squeal, and Inuzuka Kiba. Sound of head hitting a desk. Under Hitaki Kakashi. Team 8 will be Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Hinata. Soft thud as Hinata fainted from excitement. And Aburame Shino under Yuhi Kurenai. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10 is Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji under Sarutobi Asuma. After finishing the placements, Iruka left the class. Naruto on the other hand offered his condolences to Kiba and went off to meet his team. Sasuke brooded while Sakura repeatedly screeched her victory over Ino. Kyuubi inside Naruto's mind wanted to get out and kill Sakura. He might not be evil anymore, but he had sensitive ears and her screeching was too much. Naruto mercifully sent chakra to his ears, not to improve his hearing but to dampen it, getting repeated thanks from the Demon Lord. Sometime later Kurenai walked in, drawing the attention of every male except our resident brooder, and after introducing herself she took her team to a dango stand to get to know each other. So now that we're all here, how about we introduce ourselves to each other? I'll start. My name is Yuhi Kurenai, a new Junin. I like genjutsu, drinking tea and spending time with my friends. I dislike arrogant people and perverts. In the near future I want to make you a powerful infiltration scouting squad and later on maybe have a family. How about you, Blondie? Started Kurenai after they had ordered their food and drinks. Alright, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like pranks, jokes, spending time with my friends, ramen and training. I dislike arrogant fools, people who judge before getting to know someone and people who just won't change their opinions no matter how retarded they are. My dreams for the future? Earning Konoha's respect and becoming a powerful shinobi so I can protect what is precious to me. Maybe revive my clan later on, but that's in the far future. I am Aburame Shino. My likes are insects and looking for new kinds of insects. I dislike fire and intense sunlight. In the future I want to find new kinds of insects to add to my clan as well as become clan leader. I am Hyuga Hinata. I like flower pressing in Naruto-kun. I dislike people who judge others and I want to become clan leader and abolish my clan seal. Naruto looked at Hinata impressed as she had managed for the first time in as long as he knew her to not stutter. After enjoying their meals, Kurenai decided to brief them on tomorrow. Okay team, tomorrow comes the real genin test. Before you ask, that test was to determine who was actually capable of becoming a genin. Everyone else didn't have a chance to pass, so why waste resources? Rest well and meet me in training ground 8 at 8 o'clock sharp. I must warn you that you only have 33% chances of passing. Naruto gave her a grin and said, I don't think it'll be harder than taking down a Junin Kurenai-sensei. Consider the challenge over. No matter what you throw at us, we'll overcome it. I suggest getting some rest yourself because we're not going to make it easy on you. Before you leave, however, can I have a word with you? Sure Naruto, come with me. Going to the side, Naruto addressed his future sensei. Kurenai-sensei, I have also seen it proper to warn you that I have acquired yet another scouting skill yesterday. I learned the Kekkei Bunshin in the hour it took Iruka to find me. See why I insisted in coming to your squad instead of Kakashi's. My Kekkei Bunshin will have every ability I do as well as think independently and transfer me any knowledge of their actions. Last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Kyuubi is the maker of the genjutsu art, so I asked him for a couple of genjutsu. He gave me the details, as much as he could, but since he never used hand seals, that's something you'll have to work on. Regardless if I pass or not, I'll ask Kyuubi to help you on your genjutsu. Also tomorrow I probably won't fight you all out. Yesterday I could fight all out because Iruka couldn't see thanks to a smoke bomb, but I don't want my teammates knowing about my skills if they are not going to be on my team. I trust them both, but years of getting the snot beaten out of me as well as a few nasty backstabs have made me paranoid. Just so you're prepared though, it doesn't mean I'm useless. Kyuubi and Anko have both trained me to the ground. Don't be too surprised, okay? Hi Naruto-kun, don't worry about me. Now go back to your team and save your energy. I see. Well, see you tomorrow, sensei. Kurenai then left the team alone as Naruto went back to them. Okay guy and girl, I think I found some things about tomorrow. By her stance and words, tomorrow we'll be fighting against her in some form or other. She's famous for her genjutsu, so we're in luck. Hinata, you got your Byakugan. Shino, you have your bugs. They're immune to genjutsu, right? I remember you saying it at a point. And lastly, I can constantly expel chakra from my body to form a sort of armor against genjutsu. That and I have some abilities I haven't shown in class. Kurenai-sensei knows about them, but I hope she'll forget them in the heat of battle. That is true, Naruto-san. We are all protected to a degree or another from illusions, but she still is a Junin. I know that. I doubt she's heavy on taijutsu though, she doesn't seem the type and she doesn't carry a sword or other weapon. So that leaves fuinjutsu and ninjutsu. Personally, I'd rather have her as a ninjutsu opponent. Seals can be very unpredictable if the enemy has time, and she's had weeks to prepare for us. Of course, her being a Junin means she's bad news anyway, so we need to decide on team tactics. Then new teams stayed there discussing possible strategies for hours, Naruto making sure Hinata gets her turn in the discussion, often asking for her opinion. Hinata for her part felt nice since her longtime crush noticed her, while Shino was pleasantly surprised to have a capable team with him. After they separated, Naruto went off to train for a few hours, then home quickly for a shower before going to Ichiraku's to wipe out Iruka's wallet with his ramen consumption. All in all, it was a good day and it was getting better. Naruto woke up early. After his morning workout and a short breakfast, he left for the training grounds for his test. Kid, I want you to know that unless your life is on the line, I won't be helping you. You have to grow strong on your own. Also, even if your life is on the line, I won't provide all solutions. Life or death situations provide the best incentive to growth. So stay sharp, kid. I won't be talking to you unless it is absolutely necessary. Now get ready for your test. Okay, Kyuubi. I appreciate your heads up. Besides, I want to beat this test on my own, not due to a power simply given to me. That would make me as bad as the Uchiha, right? I can't depend on someone else to get stronger, even though it may be a demon king. Now let's go finish this. Naruto arrived a bit early for his test, so he sat under a tree and took a small nap. Next to the training grounds was Hinata. When she looked at the sleeping form of her crush, she blushed and went to wake him up. As she woke him up and looked into his eyes, she couldn't help but blush harder. Naruto, on the other hand, simply blinked at her and smiled. "Ohio, Hinata-chan. How are you?" "Fine, Naruto-kun. And you?" "Great. So are you ready to win this little challenge of Kurenai-sensei?" "I think so. Think it is going to be hard though. Kurenai-sensei is a Junin, and we." "Hey, no worries, Hinata-chan. Win or lose, we'll learn something anyway. Besides, I am confident in our team. I know you're quite capable when you put your mind to it. Shino has been hiding his potential in me. Well, let's say I've got it covered on my end. Besides, I doubt it's going to be a fighting-only challenge. That's just not what our team is for. We're a scouting team with infiltration elements in the mix." "What do you mean, Naruto-kun?" "Well, simple. You have your Byakugan, Shino has his bugs, and I got my clones and senses that rival Kiba's. We're a scouting team, not a strike team. We'll see though." "Anyo, what do you mean, Naruto-kun? You couldn't use Bunshins, right?" "Yes, I couldn't. The night I graduated though, I learned an B-rank Kenjutsu called Kekkei Bunshin. Material clones made of raw chakra, much more costly than normal, and they are capable of independent thought. What's cool though is that whatever a clone learns, I learn as well. Helps a lot with training. Besides, I couldn't make normal clones because I had too much chakra, but Kekkei Bunshin requires no such thing as maximum chakra. The more the better really, so it's perfect for me. Anyway, Shino seems to be close. Let's greet him and get ready." Indeed, Shino was close, and after a greeting, they got ready for their sensei. After a bit of waiting, Kurenai walked to the training grounds. "Okay, Team 8, it's time to start your test. Simply put, you'll have to find me, retrieve this scroll, and either neutralize me or keep it safe. Now get ready." With these words, Kurenai simply dissolved into flower petals. In the meantime, the real Kurenai watched them and started working her genjutsu. They were all naturally resistant to it in one way or another, but all defenses had their cracks and she had found theirs. Softly mouthing her techniques, she sent wave upon wave of subtle chakra, inducing them into a multi-layered genjutsu. Time to see if this team was good enough. No team member felt the chakra waves, as they were too subtle for any of them to notice. The team blinked a few times before looking at each other and nodding. "Okay, she's probably far away now. That was probably a genjutsu anyway. Hinata, would you be as kind to search for her?" "Hi, Naruto-kun." With a hand seal and a command, Byakugan, Hinata activated her dojutsu and started looking for Kurenai. "I'm sorry, but I can't find her. Gomenasai." "Ma, don't worry, Hinata-chan. She's a Junin, so finding her shouldn't be easy." Even as Naruto spoke, Hinata could hear a barely audible whisper coming from Shino's direction. Worthless. This simple word that hurt her so much scared Hinata. What if everyone thought of her so little? She was worthless after all. She was weak and never could maintain the untouchable visage her Oto-sama could project. She was weak, maybe she should just quit in. Interrupting her thoughts, Naruto spoke, "Well, if you can't use your eyes, use your nose, Alright, let's see." Chakra rushed through Naruto's nose, enhancing his abilities. Awareness rushed through his mind. He could smell people that were there days ago, what Shino had for breakfast, even a couple of his bugs on him and Hinata. Naruto closed his eyes and focused. After that he smiled. "Hey, she's a Junin alright. She's hiding her scent real well. Sorry, I can't help much here. Too many scents confuse me. Shino, is there anything you can do?" Shino merely nodded once before he let his Kekkei bugs out to scout. It was then he heard a voice whisper, "Freak," coming from Naruto's direction. Shino tensed. While most thought the Aburame were emotionless, they were merely very good at hiding their emotions. The very reason they were wearing these coats and glasses were in order to mesh as much as possible with people that couldn't understand them. Shino despaired after hearing that word, the word everyone had for him while he was a kid. Freak, abomination, monster, hate-filled words by those that couldn't understand him. Shino luckily found something of Kurenai, a strand of her hair to be exact. Reluctantly handing it over to Naruto, and ignoring his questioning look, he nodded at him. Kurenai was watching carefully at her could-be team. So far so good, she thought, but they need to trust each other more. This test will show if they have it in them. Naruto sniffed the hair and got a lock on Kurenai's scent. With a wave, he started following her trail, team following him. As he jumped from tree to tree, he thought he heard a female voice whisper, "Monster." Naruto almost fell from the tree thinking that Hinata, kind and gentle Hinata of all people, would think of him like that. Then again everyone else did. Everyone hated him, no one acknowledged him, no one comforted him, no one cared for him. Steeling his heart, trying his darndest to ignore the pain he was in, he moved forward. Meanwhile Kyuubi was laughing in his cage. What a great way to use one's skills. Maybe taking on an apprentice of sorts wasn't so unreal a choice. After closing in on Kurenai's position, Naruto turned to Hinata and nodded. Hinata got ready to activate her Dujutsu but was stunned when she saw the pain in Naruto's eyes. Before she could speak though, the world around her blurred. Same thing with Naruto and Shino. Caught in Kurenai's genjutsu, they saw their worst fears. Naruto was trapped in a dead end. Just like when he was a kid. He saw everyone's glares, looks of hate and malice. They hated him, they despised him. He felt the despair, he felt the black abyss of loneliness rise up to swallow him whole as his loved people, Anko, Hinata, even Tuchi and Ayame, looked at him with hate. "Demon, demon," they called, and they raised their hands to hit him. Smite him down like the demon he was. Perhaps he deserved this. Perhaps he was a demon. Something stirred in Naruto. Determination, stubbornly rising up, enveloping, comforting, strengthening him. He felt fury rise up inside. This was not real, this was a lie. How dare she? How dare she use this to curb his resistance? Anger mixed with determination. He drew upon his chakra. Kurenai looked at her team. Hinata had broken down crying, Shino looked terrified, and Naruto looked so hurt that she almost broke her illusion. But then his features changed. She saw such anger boiling behind his eyes that sent shivers of fear coursing through her. Suddenly trapping them in that specific genjutsu was not such a good idea. Then she saw the chakras swirl around Naruto. Kami, how much chakra did he have? It was visible and rising quickly. He had already been molding as much as she had at 100%, and it kept rising. What the heck was he? Naruto gathered his chakra and channeled it to his arms. Raising his hands in front, he cocked them back. His chakra moved to the palms of his hands. The glow was so condensed Kurenai couldn't see his hands anymore. A Hyuga would have been blinded. Chakra Nami. Naruto thrust his hands forward, unleashing a wave of raw chakra. Kurenai felt the world around her shudder for an instant. Her illusions, so carefully crafted, so delicate yet so powerful, shattered. No one had ever overpowered them so completely before. Even Kakashi couldn't just shatter them like a mighty avalanche, completely destroying a mere person standing in front of it. She felt awed. "Kami," she whispered. The chakra wave went on for 100 feet before finally losing power and slowly. Kurenai was too shocked to do anything but blink. Hinata and Shino, suddenly released from the genjutsu, saw Naruto, arms still extended forward, and Kurenai blinking at him. What surprised them though was the still swirling chakra of Naruto. Naruto spoke words of raw anger. How dare you? How dare you show that to me, you bitch? How dare you insult everything I care for? I will kill you. I'll kill you." Kurenai barely had any time to dodge as Naruto charged her with speeds most Junin would be hard-pressed to match. Carefully she tried to speak to Naruto, to apologize for whatever she had forced him to see. Naruto calmed down. It was a test, a mere illusion to see. "You think I care? You are not scum, it would be insulting to scum. How dare you show that of all things?" Hinata was officially scared. What could Naruto have seen that caused such a reaction? He always seemed so nice, so caring, so what could have forced such a reaction? Shino was taken aback. To his knowledge, Naruto was a carefree person, took everything lightly and laughed at the smallest thing. Yet this Naruto was nothing he would have expected out of the laughing blonde. Quickly he turned to Hinata and spoke carefully. Hinata-san, we must stop him. Try restraining him while I'll try to get Kurenai-sensei's scroll. We'll have to ask him about this behavior of his. I don't know if I can, Shino-san, but I will try. Hinata ran to Naruto and took advantage of Naruto's enraged state to hit a couple of the pressure points on his hands to paralyze them. Naruto almost hit her with his other hand before he froze looking at her. Hinata? Naruto-kun, I don't know what she showed you, but it can't be that bad. It is. She showed me my childhood. Kurenai hearing this froze. Kami, no wonder he reacted like that. Shino on the other hand chose to wait for later before he would question Naruto on his words. Now he had a scroll to get. Quickly swiping it, he returned to his team. Kurenai decided she'd seen enough. They had the teamwork, they had the skills. Quickly she announced, "Alright team, you performed perfectly. You are now officially Genin of Konoha. You pass. This test was made to test your cooperation and teamwork. In other words, getting the scroll or not was irrelevant. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to work with you though, Kurenai. Anko said you were understanding of things. Guess she misjudged you." Naruto, calm down. I didn't know what the illusion showed you. Would you like to see? Want to live one day of my childhood, Kurenai? It's not so bad, I'm sure. Naruto, I'm so sorry. This genjutsu was made to project your deepest fears and nightmares. I didn't know it would project that. Hinata interrupted the conversation. Anyo, Naruto-kun, why did you react like that? It wasn't like you. Yeah, guess so, Hinata. Then again, I'm not like you or anyone else, but at most 8 other people. Sigh. Since we're gonna be Team 8, we have to trust each other. For that to happen, I'll tell you everything about me. By the time I'm done, you'll have the right to kill me, and I'll hold no grudge about that. Sit down because this will take some time. Hinata and Shino sat under a tree while Kurenai, feeling guilty about what she had Naruto go through, sat next to them. Naruto chose another tree to sit down facing them. Looking at them each in turn, he turned to the sky before beginning his tale. This story really began 10,000 years ago, when humans didn't even exist. However, I'm going to skip to 13 years ago. On the 10th of October 13 years ago. Hinata, what happened then? The Kekkei attacked Kei Konoha. And what else? Why, you were born, Naruto-kun. She said, blushing at his attention. Yes. You see, I am not exactly human. I was born one though. I was human for about 15 minutes. Tell me, Shino, if someone threatens you and everything you hold dear yet you cannot kill him, what do you do? The most logical solution would be to restrain or seal them. But you can't mean that. The Kyuubi was. Shino slowed down as the implications of Naruto's words struck him. Exactly. Yondaime couldn't kill the Kyuubi. No man can. Instead, he chose another solution. He had to seal it. But you see, that's not so easy. The more tails a Biju has, the stronger it is. The Ichibi could be sealed in a normal item, the Nibi in a specially prepared sphere. But as one goes up the tails, it gets harder and harder to seal off. The Kyuubi couldn't be sealed in an item, the seal would be too weak. It couldn't be sealed in an animal, or the animal would become the submissive personality to the Kyuubi. It couldn't be sealed in an adult because the Kyuubi's Yuki would tear the person apart from the Yuki, overflowing the chakra coils. So only one solution remained. Seal the Biju inside a newborn baby. And the only baby born that day was me. I am Uzumaki Naruto and I am not human. My classification is Jinchuriki. The Kyuubi no Jinchuriki to be exact. In my gut lies the demon that tried to destroy Konoha. Naruto let them think about his words for a little time, to allow it all to sink in. Hinata looked terrified and Shino was as always unreadable. Now no human, no matter how strong, could devise a seal to hold the Kyuubi back. Yondaime didn't die because he used all his chakra. He died because he summoned the one thing to be able to seal off the Kyuubi. He summoned the Shinigami himself. That is the real reason he died. Just before he died though, he left behind his last words. My name and one request. That I be looked upon as a hero to hold the Kyuubi back. The one thing to stand between the Kyuubi and all of you. He believed in the people he tried to protect. The fool, they never listened. They saw me as the Kyuubi itself. You wondered why I reacted like that to seeing my memories? Tell me, how many times have you scavenged trash for food? How many times have you been tortured to the bliss of unconsciousness? How many times have you been poisoned? How many times have you been looked on with nothing but hate, as if your very existence was a blight upon the earth? Hinata looked terrified. How could people treat someone like that? How could they torture the one person to save them all? Shino on his part saw someone he could relate to, even though he was outside his clan. Kurenai began to understand exactly what she did and was feeling guilt unlike anything she had felt before. Naruto though continued, there are more. 5 years ago. Remember a burst of chakras so evil you probably had nightmares of? That was me. Or rather Kyuubi. 5 years ago, I was hunted by a mob. The weekly chase they gave me. That was one of the few that they actually caught me. I was fortunate. I was only tortured for an hour. Then I got stabbed by a chakra-infused sword. Right on the seal. Sigh. The seal is really powerful, but also delicate. The tiniest disruption could free the Kyuubi. And it did. The Kyuubi's seal broke. The Kyuubi kid and Heck probably should have gotten free, killing me in the meantime. But of course killing me would be too kind for Kyuubi. Instead he chose to devour my soul. He took me to my mindscape and challenged me. There is no escape from such fights. Tell me, how would you react if you saw the Kyuubi, a dead demon, and realized he was the reason for all your suffering? Tell me, how would you feel if the one person you ever trusted fully never told you anything about who you really were? I fought the Kyuubi. Normally I would have died. But Kyuubi misjudged something. We were in my mindscape. There whatever I say goes. There I am God. So I fought him, and won. I also met Yondaime there. Or well, a clone of him he placed in order to repair the seal should it ever break. He told me a few things, including my parentage, but that is irrelevant. The point is I defeated the Kyuubi. Victory in such a fight means the winner completely devours and takes the powers of the loser. So I started absorbing Kyuubi's power and knowledge. See a problem here? His power was too great. His knowledge too much. I would tear me apart mentally and physically. So, I brought Kyuubi back. Gasps echoed. There was no way other than that. I had to. I brought him back and tied him to my blood. I also changed him, erased his bloodlust and made him my Kekkei Genkai of sorts. Kyuubi will be within all of my children and be their mentor and teacher. He will guide them through a life of kindness. Now, Kyuubi is a grumpier version of Iruka-sensei. Oh, and he hates cute things. Chuckle. His team looked at him wide-eyed. That was not all though. While I absorbed his power, most of it escaped and incinerated the men attacking me. You see, the Kyuubi's chakra is poison. I developed a resistance over time though. It allowed me to survive though not as I was. I became even less human. My body is unstable. My DNA is half broken. However, I can control it. I can cause my body to mutate and change form to make weapons or alter my perception. I can form claws, wings, see warmth, or change my eyes to that of an eagle. My body adapts faster than any human's. My bones are denser, my skin harder to pierce. My muscles evolve 100 times faster than anyone else's. I can heal almost any injury. In short, my body's physical abilities go as close to perfection as a human is allowed to be. Tell me, what defines a monster? Birth? Looks? Fame? Actions? Thoughts? What is a monster? Pain evident in his eyes. Naruto awaited his teammates' approval. It was the time of truth. They would judge him. Hinata was torn. Her family had lost many in the Kyuubi's attack. Now the Kyuubi was alive, in front of her. She was taught it was evil, it was dead. But it wasn't dead. It was a lie. Was it being evil also a lie? Would she go against her family? Her devotion to it had been literally beaten into her all her life. Hyuga above all. Yet she was hesitating. Naruto never asked for this, never had a choice. If he was the Kyuubi, they'd have all been killed. He really was the only thing standing between them and the demon lord. She tried for a second to imagine the loneliness he had suffered. It was impossible, unbearable. She made her choice. Shino also tried to think about Naruto. His logic said that he was a danger, yes, but an acceptable one. Were he the Kyuubi, they'd have all been killed. But they were alive. Hence, if the person in front of him had that much kindness after all this, it meant he was untouched by Kyuubi's hate. Shino also thought about Naruto's loneliness. To him it was even harder. A life without his clan and his insects, without anyone. It scared him. terrified him. No one to turn to, no one to look up to. He also made his choice. Kurenai had long since made her choice. It was the obvious one. Slowly Naruto's teammates spoke. Naruto-kun is no demon. You didn't ask for it. You kept us all safe. I don't think you're a monster. You're too kind for it. I concur with Hinata-san. It would be impossible to maintain a charade of innocence for as long as and especially against all you seem to have gone through. Besides, if anyone understands your position in Konoha, it is my clan. Naruto was elated. Another two people who didn't see him as the damn fox. I heard that brat, he could finally entrust them with his final secret. Arigato Minna, for seeing me as I am. However, I have not shared my final and greatest secret. Kurenai and her team perked up. What was he talking about? What secret was greater than the Kyuubi being sealed inside him? This secret is known by 3 people in Konoha, including me. It is an sulfur monosulfide ranked secret you will not reveal to anyone. Say Shino, what is the first rule of being a Hokage? Shino answered automatically. Do not send others on a mission you wouldn't go yourself. Wait, that means. Yup, think about it. Would Yondaime ever trust that burden to just any random child? Kurenai's eyes widened as she caught up. TT, that means you're. Hey, come on Hinata-chan, you know better than anyone. Who do I look like? Here's a hint. You see him every day. Hinata was thinking hard before the answer hit her on the head. Naruto looked exactly like the Yondaime's face on the Hokage monument. It was impossible, yet it was true. Naruto-kun I is. Yondaime-sama's son. Was all she got out before fainting. Naruto chuckled. She was so cute like that. Kurenai and Shino. I don't think I have to tell you about this, but you will not share anything that happened here with anyone else. Not even my parentage. If these retards don't treat me well, even if I'm an orphan, then they don't deserve my father's legacy. Shino nodded. Kurenai found the time to apologize to Naruto. Naruto, I want to apologize. I didn't know what I would have shown you. If I did, I would have chosen something else. Yes, you didn't. However, that does not excuse you from your actions. I do not forget or forgive that easily, Kurenai-san. But if you're wondering, I'll be fine. I've survived much worse. It will simply take some time. After a little while, Hinata woke up. After being told not to repeat anything she heard there, the team exchanged their secrets to bond together even more. Hinata was on the ground a second time at that time. She had finally found the courage to tell Naruto she liked him, only to be surprised by his answer. I know already, Hinata-chan. I like you too. Even though, thanks to me being an orphan, I don't know in what way exactly. Still, the fact remains I like you, and it is one of the reasons I'm in this team. After waiting for Hinata to wake up from Happy Land, the team debated on a name. Naruto came up with their final choice. The team would be named Fear. Our first encounter Assault Recon. They will be the first ones to be sent in, recon the enemy and possibly attack its positions using strategic thinking and knowledge over pure firepower. Seeing as it was getting late, the team meeting broke up so everyone could go to their respective homes. To Naruto it was a good day. Kurenai went to the Hokage and was surprisingly chastised for being late. However, her words shook up the poor Hokage. I am late because I had my first team meeting. Also, Naruto told me all his secrets. And I mean all of them. Including his parentage. Shame on you, Hokage. You really have forgotten who you are in your old age. Of course, that drew gasps from the assembled Junin that were however silenced when they heard their Hokage. I see. I can only apologize, I'm afraid. That won't work, Hokage-sama. I used my genjutsu to make Naruto view his worst nightmare. He almost killed me, and that's without him using his abilities. I'll tell you what he told me, I don't forgive or forget that easily. Sarutobi seemingly aged in a few seconds by her words. He sighed before dismissing everyone. He turned to his crystal ball to see Naruto chased off from a shop. Have I really failed you that much, Naruto? Minato? Have I really failed you so much? As if on cue, Naruto turned and stared right towards where the crystal eye was. The look on his eyes gave the aged Hokage his answer. The next day found Team 8 at their training ground waiting for Naruto. When he arrived, he looked exhausted. Naruto, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep at night? Asked a concerned Kurenai, Hinata being too shy to speak and Shino silently nodding. Yeah, kinda. Me and Q had a long chat. You see, he wants to teach you about his type of genjutsu. Said you got potential. That, and we were also working on training schedules. Physically I am the most advanced, but I doubt you'll be able to keep up with me. We also had a talk about our specializations. Long story short, while my body slept at night, I was in my mindscape discussing stuff. Yawn, sorry about that. Anyway, me and Q also had a conversation about me getting him out here. I do have the Kitsune contract, but he's inside me so I can't summon him that easily. Sure, I might be able to if I use his Yuki, but I don't know what it'll do to my body and I doubt it's gonna be nice. All I could get down to was making a soulless cage bunshin and shoving him inside it. Still, I'd have to speak with you before I get to it. You're our sensei after all. I see. Well, Naruto, how about you tell us your ideas? And keep Kyuubi inside for now. Also, what about your mindscape? Okay, first things first. Q said your genjutsu was amazing, even though he didn't explain how. He said I should ask you about it. He also said he'd try teaching you kitsune illusions, that from what I understand are so strong that can actually cause physical wounds on their target. That and they're pretty damn hard to dispel. For example, my chakra Nami wouldn't work on such an illusion. On the downside, they take a crapload more chakra to cast. I see. Well, I'd love to learn how to use them, but that's not a discussion for now. What else did you speak about? Okay, after that we had a chat about our training. I am pretty much an all-around shinobi, except in genjutsu, thanks to my reserves and physical training. He said that while we should specialize in something, we should also be good in a couple more areas, and I agree. He said that Shino would be good with a pair of kama, while Hinata should also learn genjutsu, how to use tonfa or some ranged weapon, and maybe learn some medical jutsu. For you sensei, he said he could try and teach you some taijutsu once he got out of the seal. He also had some pretty nice ideas about me and Hinata cooperating. He said that while my style focuses on counters and a lot of evading, coupled with aggressive footing, Hinata is the opposite. Hinata-chan, your natural fighting style is to avoid an attack and counter immediately while tricking the opponent that because you're on the defensive you are at a disadvantage. As for Shino, he said you and your Kikaichu pretty much cover each other, so you could use them to warn you of danger, much like having a sixth sense concerning danger. I concur with Naruto-san's observations. I am however wondering what he meant by specializations, since his previous statements all but countered said point. After Kyuubi spent some time explaining to Naruto what Shino had said, Naruto answered, because like it or not, nearly all shinobi focus on something. For example, I am good in taijutsu, ninjutsu, and have started on fuinjutsu, but I'm most likely going to specialize on taijutsu. Even if you learn how to use kama, you will focus on your bug jutsu. It's just something to fall back on. Anyway, Kyuubi said my specialties will probably lie in Rekken, close quarters combat, and seals. Shino is Rekken, strategy and long-range assault. Hinata is Rekken, support and close quarters combat. Kurenai Sensei is genjutsu and ninjutsu. This way we got all our bases covered. Naruto-kun, what did you mean about your mindscape? The mindscape is a representation of your mind. It takes a lot of meditation to get inside, but once you do, you understand a few things about yourself. It's a bit dangerous though. Anyo, what do you mean? Inside your mindscape lie all your memories, dreams and nightmares. If you're not careful and have had a bad life, you might get traumatized. It's also the place where mine and Kyuubi's consciousness can meet. Mine used to be a dark, damp sewer thanks to the beatings I had received. In my case, it symbolized my lack of confidence and permeating sadness. Now it's a huge luscious forest with a lake and a small cave that hides my nightmares. Word of advice. If you ever gain entrance there, never ever go into the cave. You'll be forced to endure my life, and even now I'm not sure how exactly I didn't go insane after all the shit I went through. Okay Naruto, now let's get down to the training regime. What did you have in mind? Me and Q started thinking up a sort of upgradable obstacle course. So we thought in the morning we should train our bodies and then go for a mission or two. After that I suggest chakra control and jutsu training. As far as training goes, Hinata is going to be my partner, no offense Shino. None taken. It does seem like a good plan. I do wonder though what training you will go through. Well, since both me and Hinata-chan are close quarters combatants, I was thinking of joint taijutsu training. This way we'll be able to cover for each other. Hinata-chan is naturally flexible, while my Kekkei Genkai also makes me extremely flexible. I think we can fight literally within each other's embrace, so to speak. If we train enough, we'll be able to know what the other is going to do and act accordingly. We could literally be the most dangerous pair in Konoha. Naruto's speech was interrupted by Hinata that almost had steam coming out of her ears at the prospect of training alone with the crush. In a fighting style that would have them touching almost constantly too. Naruto, noticing it, rushed to help her. "Hinata-chan. Even though I do admit that your constant blushing and stuttering make you look cute and innocent on top of your natural beauty, there is a limit. If you want to keep on being in this squad, you must act the part. I can't fight side by side with an ally that I can't trust to not faint out of shyness. Hinata-chan, compose yourself immediately. Otherwise I will leave." Naruto hated shouting at her, he really did, but there was no other way. "Way to go, kid. Now you've broken her. And here I thought you were with the good guys, tisk tisk tisk." "Oh, shut up, furball. You know as well as I do that she has to break out of it." Hinata was meanwhile trying to get out of the stupor Naruto's harsh words had thrown her into. She almost broke down sobbing before. "Okay, Hinata-chan, look at me. I said look at me. I know you have a crush on me, and I know your family has destroyed your self-esteem. You think you're weak and all. Know what though? Out of everyone in our age group, you're the only one that actually has a chance of beating me. Trust me, not even Neji Baka has your potential. It's just that you limit yourself. I want to help you, but first you have to get over your confidence. Now get up and look at me in the eye. Tell me what you see, Hinata." Hinata slowly got up and looked at her crush. She saw his concern for her. She started feeling worse by the second. She had angered her Naruto-kun. "I am sorry, Naruto-kun. I am so worthless, I should just quit." Sob, "I made you angry at me. I should just leave." Hinata turned around while Naruto sighed in exasperation. Just what would it take for her to get over herself? Making up his mind, he took off his shirt and formed his wings. Rushing forward, he grabbed her bridal style and took off. Hinata eeped before screaming in fear. Naruto ignored her cries, flying higher and higher. "Hinata, I didn't get angry at you. I didn't shout at you either. I tried to shock you a bit so you could get over it at some point. Seems the only way to get over your shyness and fear is this." With that, Naruto dived, Hinata screaming. At the last second, he spread his wings, picking up speed. For Hinata, this seemed like the craziest ride she'd ever been on, at the hands of her crush no less. As the adrenaline began to set in, however, her screams of fear turned into screams of exhilaration. For the first time in Kami knows how long, Hinata was having fun. Her shyness and fear forgotten, she enjoyed every second of her ride. When Naruto finally touched down, Hinata pouted. It was nice. Then she got a look at Naruto's smug grin. "Looks like you got over that, Now how about we go back? Here's a bit of wisdom Q himself gave me. You're only as strong as you want to be. The moment you lose confidence is the moment you will lose. No matter what others tell you, the only thing to gauge your worth is you. That way, even if you were to lose, you will never fail. Remember, Hinata-chan, I believe in you and trust you with my life. So what if others think you're useless? Prove them wrong. It's all in the palm of your hand." Needless to say, Hinata's confidence was greatly boosted by Naruto's words. In a comfortable silence, they both went back to their team. Shino raised an eyebrow seeing as Hinata seemed much more confident, while Kurenai took Hinata to the side to ask her exactly what had happened. After all was said and done, the team got down to fixing the schedule, with Hinata blushing at how close to Naruto she'd have to be and Naruto chuckling at her expense, which in turn got Kurenai bopping him on the head. Shino for his part remained mostly silent but was visibly relaxing around his team. Naruto's laughter and jokes putting him at more ease than he had been outside his home since he could remember. After a while, Naruto asked about Kurenai's test. She explained to her team that exactly because she knew they were protected against genjutsu, she had to make special versions in order to confuse them. First of all, the Kurenai that spoke to them was a genjutsu coupled with a Kage Bunshin. The voices they had supposedly heard from their teammates were also genjutsu she used to counter Hinata's eyes. After all, the Byakugan, no matter how strong, wouldn't detect a sound illusion. The last genjutsu she used was one that projected to the subject its innermost fears, such as Naruto's childhood or Hinata's fear of rejection. Fortunately, no one asked Shino what his innermost fear was, since whatever had the power to scare the ice-cold bug user must be the stuff of nightmares indeed. Days passed and Naruto, having finished his obstacle course that was hard enough to give Kurenai a challenge, started getting bored. Sure, his training with Hinata was awesome. They cooperated so darn well they could take down Anko. Hinata had started learning medical jutsu, that coupled with her already impressive knowledge about medicine, revealed her to have excellent potential as a medic nin. Shino for his part had gotten several books on strategy from Kurenai's ex-part sensei Narashibi. He had also started some lessons in using kamas, often using Naruto as his sparring partner, seeing as Naruto healed any injuries in seconds and a lot of stamina. Kurenai for her part spent a lot of time with her team and Naruto's rather unique training regime, meditating long enough to enter her mindscape for example, or focusing and condensing her chakra enough to have it take the shape of certain more and more complicated kanji. Naruto used his cage bunshins to study seal making and elemental chakra control. Well, his primary affinity might be wind, but that didn't mean he couldn't learn anything else, right? For practice he had used some of his seals to improve Shino's weapons, making them much sharper and sturdier than normal. He also applied some seal on Enko's bracers that allowed her to draw a pair of long knives, again improved with seals. The team had decided after a week that they would have Naruto as the team leader. As the team leader, it had come the time to request a higher ranked mission. So approaching the Sandame, Naruto spoke. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, I believe it is time for my team to receive a higher ranked mission. We have completed the minimum for a C-ranked mission, and according to our Junin sensei, Yuhi Kurenai, our skills qualify for a simple C rank that focuses around our talents. Therefore I believe I speak for my team in saying that we request a more difficult mission. Genin Uzumaki, explain to me, why should I listen to a mere genin, fresh out of the academy? Am I not capable of discerning who I should give a mission to? Or perhaps you believe that in your infinite experience you know better than your superiors? Simple Hokage-sama, we are shinobi. Young or old, fresh or battle-hardened, we are shinobi. While keeping us in D-rank missions does serve its purpose for most genin, it is not the same for us. First of all, as shinobi, we are people of action, destined to face adversities. Staying here, sheltered and secured, trapped in normalcy dulls our skills, and that is unacceptable. True, we need security and shelter, but we also need to get out and sharpen our skills, something that is impossible in the village. Also, may I draw your attention to the purpose of my squad? We are reckoners. How are we going to do our job later on if we have no idea how the world outside works beforehand? Not knowing the smallest detail could spell disaster for our mission and therefore another squad's as well. By going out of the village at our small age, in simple missions, possibly by cooperating with other older and more experienced squads, can help a lot. We will know what to face later on, as well as possibly setting up contacts outside the confines of this village. I am not asking for a solo or our team only C rank. Instead, I'm asking that we do our job and reckon for another team in a joint mission. Well, Naruto-kun, I see that your argumentative ability hasn't dulled. Good. Well, I have a team going out to retrieve an item. Maybe your team wants to go with them? If you're ready, that is. They are leaving in 30 minutes. Naruto looked at his team, nodding, and turned to the aged Hokage. Hi Sandame-sama, we will meet up with them. Prepare our mission scroll while my team and I prepare. I will return for it, as I can catch up to my team the easiest. Very well. Team 8, you are now on a C-rank mission to T country. Your objective is to reckon the house of a rich merchant for a stolen item. Once it is located, you are to give TH results to the other team that will perform the extraction. According to your performance will be your payment. Good luck. With a curt nod, Naruto and his team left to prepare. Having learned the Shunshin no Jutsu, they moved to their individual rooms and grabbed their traveling scrolls. After saying their goodbyes to their respective families, they shunshined to the gate to wait for their allied team. Soon a team made of 3 Chunin appeared. As they were going to ask what was happening, Naruto deftly landed in front of them. Greetings. I am Uzumaki Naruto, Taicho of Team 8, aka Team FEAR. We are your reckoners. I am a reckon and close quarters specialist, while Hyuga Hinata to my right is a reckon, support and secondary close quarter specialist. Aburame Shino to my left is our strategist, reckon and long-range specialist. Behind us is Yuhi Kurenai, our Junin sensei and a genjutsu and long-range specialist. Here is our mission scroll. Pleased to be working with you. The Chunin looked at the team in front of them and blinked. Short and to the point introduction, on their time and covering all their bases. However, they just had to have the damn demon brat. Naruto, sensing their discomfort, sighed. It would take a long time to be accepted. After the introductions were over, the teams moved out using chakra-enhanced leaps through the forest to move fast. It took the teams 2 days to get to their destination. During those 2 days the Chunin team all but ignored Naruto and his team, but by the 3rd day they were starting to feel better around them. No signs of demonic control were there, and his team was functioning like a well-oiled machine, setting perimeters and guards every now and then with cage buncheons covering their tracks. At night of the last day the 2 teams had reached their goal, a huge 4-story high mansion. It was time. Naruto signed to the Junin team to stay put while they did their job. Hinata activated her Byakugan and scouted the house for chakra sources. Meanwhile Shino unleashed a special breed of bugs with the ability to transmit images to him like a short video. As for Naruto, after warning the Chunin team of his unique Kekkei Genkai, activated his wings. The team just looked at him in surprise. "Ma, Daijobu. It's just my Kekkei Genkai. Got it the day the Kyuubi almost broke free. See, the damned furball wanted to mess with my body so it could use it to get away in it. Thanks to Yondaimi's secondary seals, though, I was able to beat it. The remains of its Yukai gave me the power to shift my form a bit. Nothing terrible, yeah, but it's real useful. Don't worry, Sandame-sama, Jiraiya-sama and Yamanaka Inoichi-sama have all confirmed that the Kyuubi is still sealed safely inside my gut. And yes, my team knows it and they're okay with it. Now let me do my job, okay?" With that, Naruto left. A group of stupefied shinobi looked as he shot up into the night, circling the building, scanning it with his special vision modes. The Chunin leader turned to Team 8. "Are you alright with the fact that the Kyuubi's vessel is on your team? I mean, the Kyuubi could have taken over and—" The Chunin was interrupted by Hinata's unusually cold glare. "Naruto-kun isn't the fox. He's its vessel, as you have put it. Besides, if the Kyuubi couldn't take over Naruto when he had been tortured to the point of considering death a blessing, how would he take over Naruto-kun now? I mean, even when the idiotic villagers tried to murder him and made his life a living hell, he never gave up protecting him. If he wanted us dead, we'd have been dead already, and you know it. Hate the Kyuubi's past actions, but know that no matter what, Naruto-kun will not become like that. He has something that is more important to him than anything else, and that's his goal of being accepted by this village. So shut up and have some faith in him." The Chunin looked at her surprised. Hyuga Hinata was supposed to be weak and timid, yet this Hinata was anything but. Curiously they turned to Shino. "I concur with Hinata-san. Naruto is simply far too kind and caring to be affected by the Kyuubi." Kurenai couldn't be prouder of her team. The way they were going, they would really change the world. A few minutes later Naruto landed in front of the team. After revealing and cross-referencing their findings, the teams turned to Shino. He was, after all, the strategist. After a couple of minutes of thought he laid out his plan. "The defense seems weak and we already know their weak points. Team A will enter from the north, behind their storeroom. Kurenai-sensei will cover them with a genjutsu. Meanwhile Naruto and Hinata will be stationed at the exit of the mansion so that in case the guards are alerted and their termination is deemed necessary, there will be no escape for them, so as to keep the leaf free of charges. I will stay at the extraction point and keep in safe." The teams agreed and set off to their tasks. Thanks to Kurenai's genjutsu arts, the guards didn't find out a thing about the shinobi. A mere 3 hours later the two groups were well on their way back to Konoha. Sarutobi, after hearing about Team 8's success, rewarded them for a rank B mission, considering the risks they took as well as taking care of every potential action. After the mission Naruto went up to the Hokage and asked for a more advanced sealing book, since he had already finished the ones he had gotten before. The third gladly handed him a few books with more advanced seals. Naruto was turning into quite the seal master for his age. He might be low in experience, but he sure had talent in the area. Making a mental note to ask Jiraiya for some more books next time he was in Konoha, he gave the team a couple of days off to enjoy to themselves. Their day was going fine as they went to Ichiraku's ramen stand for lunch until Team 7 appeared. Sasuke scowled at Naruto and proceeded to goad him to a fight. Well, if it isn't Team Dobi. What are you doing here? Recovering from spending too much time thinking? Naruto, always quick to put the Uchiha brat back into his place, glared. No Teme, we're just having fun. Or have you forgotten that there is fun outside your Yuke's happy time? Buzz off now, asshole. Sasuke bristled at the insult. Get up, Dobi, and back your words. Nobody insults an Uchiha and gets away with it. I would if I didn't have to touch you Uchiha. Or if I really had any doubts about who would win the fight. So you realize you would never defeat me, Dobi? On the contrary, you brat. I don't want to fight you because I know I beat you. No use fighting an enemy with no chances of winning. What did you say, Dobi? Get up and prove it. Sakura of course jumped to defend her crush. Yeah, Naruto baka. Get up and fight Sasuke-kun or shut up like the baka you are. Naruto rubbed his ears. Oh great, the pink banshee. What do you want, Haruno? Don't you have a wall to smash with your forehead? Geez. Sakura was sputtering after Naruto's insult. He never had insulted her as much as he had right now. And for some reason it hurt her. Luckily, or unluckily depending on who you were, Sasuke rushed to defend her pride. Get up and fight me, Dobi. Or are you going to hide behind that pale-eyed bitch of yours? Time stopped as chopsticks fell on the counter. Shino and Hinata both looked at each other and thought, idiot. Naruto slowly got up and turned to the Uchiha. Meanwhile, Kyuubi was asking for the brat's blood for having insulted Naruto's mate. Take it back. What? You wanna fight for that loser bitch's sake? You must be more stupid than I thought. You have no chance against me. I am an elite Uchiha and you are a useless, worthless, son of a bitch that. Sasuke's tirade was stopped by Naruto as he literally exploded forth in a burst of speed, sending a palm strike in Sasuke's sternum, knocking the wind out of him. Right after he disappeared and reappeared behind him, smashing his elbow on Sasuke's ribcage, making a cracking sound. As Sasuke was shot forward again, Naruto waited for him, sending a punch into his face, knocking him down. Sasuke twitched on the ground weakly, trying to get up. Bleeding from his nose and lips, with a busted eyebrow and a shattered jaw, not to mention the right half of his ribcage almost entirely broken to pieces, he couldn't make a coherent motion. Sakura watched in horror. Hinata and Shino sighed. It would definitely leave a mark. Kiba laughed. Naruto marched over to the sprawled form of the Uchiha and looked at him in contempt. You are weak, Uchiha, just like the rest of your clan. You lack a driving force to push you through everything, therefore you lose to me. You are not scum. You are worse than scum. Sasuke's mind had one thought throughout the pain. I must get stronger in order to beat him. I have to get stronger. I have to hate more. More hate. More hate. Sasuke's mind had been as fractured as his body. Naruto called for some medics. Sakura in the meanwhile started yelling at him for hurting her Sasuke-kun and that he was a monster and that she would take it to the council. Hinata stopped her mid-sentence. That would be stupid, Sakura. Sasuke himself threatened and challenged Naruto to a duel and lost. That is something that the owners of this shop, 3 clan heirs and subsequently their clans will support. Since neither Sasuke nor Naruto are civilians, they would be tried only by the Shinobi Council. In other words, your mother and the civilians won't be able to do anything. So get your useless excuse of a humanoid being and get out. Kiba stared wide-eyed at Hinata's words while Sakura started retaliating with a barrage of insults and accusations making no sense, even though one could easily hear the words, pale-eyed bitch, demon, monster-loving, blue-haired slut, and a number of other insults. Finally the Anbu had enough of her and chopped her at the back of her neck, knocking her out. Naruto apologized to them and asked them to keep it covered. After the Anbu left, Kiba and Team 8 went to their training ground to have some fun. A few days later, after the Uchiha was released from the hospital, he tried to press charges at Naruto. However, without the backing of the civilian council, not even Danzo, Homura and Kaharu could help him. Especially after the Hyuga clan head, Hiashi, made it plain that whoever wanted to condemn the boy that defended his child's honor would have to get through him first. It was an unnecessary threat, however, since most of the Shinobi Council supported Naruto anyway. After the incident died away, Naruto requested yet another C-rank mission, this time to aid Team Guy in taking out a bandit group in Mizu no Kuni. It all went well until the fight started. Naruto was paired up with Hinata against the leaders of the group, while Lee and Neji took down the bulk, using their extreme speed to take down the strays. Behind them, Shino and Tenten showered the bandits with their individual attacks, keeping Lee and Neji safe. Guy and Kurenai were watching from behind, ready to interfere though. It was soon discovered that there were a pair of shinobi leading the group. A couple famous for their use of poisons. The man used a ninjutsu and was mostly using taijutsu to engage up close and personal, while his wife used senbon and wide-area poison jutsu to weaken the enemy. She also had a ninjutsu she used sometimes but was not nearly as good with it as her husband. Naruto was busy fighting the man while Hinata had taken the fight to the woman, using her own senbon needles to hit her nerve points, closing in whenever she could. It went well until at a concealed gesture. The Nuke Nin pair both attacked Hinata in a flash, taking her by surprise. Before she could react, there was a sound of flesh being ripped. Blood sprayed on Hinata's face as a pair of blades protruded from Naruto's back. He had saved her at the cost of himself. Hinata started tearing up until she heard a growl. I won't let you hurt her. With a primal roar, Naruto formed his claws and attacked. The pair thought that he was weakened by their poisons, not to mention a pair of swords going through him. Instead, they got a clawed hand in their stomachs. With a grunt, Naruto shoved his claws upwards, effectively impaling them. His hands had entered at the couple's stomach region while 4 claws protruded from their shoulders, with the 5th claw, that of the middle finger, stabbed into their brain. Naruto threw them to the side and fell on his knees. He had never encountered this poison before, and coupled with his wounds he was weakened. Hinata rushed over him and started healing him through her tears. It didn't take long for him to be able to stand up. Neji spoke about how fate had declared that he was to live, before getting slapped by his supposedly weak cousin that tried to explain him that Naruto was alive because he wanted to and never gave up, not because fate declared it. Of course Neji didn't listen and Naruto was too annoyed by Neji to try and change his views. In the end they left in relative peace and went back to Konoha. Relatives, since Lee and Guy would never shut up about Naruto's flames of youth. As the team reached the village, Team 7 was leaving on a C-ranked mission to escort Tazuna to the Land of Waves. When Sasuke and Sakura tried to show Naruto up, he merely shrugged them off and told them they were coming back from a B-ranked mission and an encounter with shinobi, not mere bandits. Ignoring Kakashi's wide eyes, Kurenai followed her team inside the village, all the while making fun of Sasuke's and Sakura's faces. In Konoha, Team 8 had just returned from their fight in Mizu no Kuni. After getting to the aged Hokage for debriefing and getting paid, they took some time off to relax and train in their own ways. Or in Hinata's and Naruto's case, spend some time together. They did like each other, both had confessed that part, however they hadn't made it formal yet. Most on Naruto's request. He couldn't let the villagers' bias and stupidity hurt those he cared for. Hinata didn't like it, of course, and that is why at the moment Naruto had taken her to a picnic of sorts on top of the Hokage's heads. It had a beautiful view, especially on a sunset. It had been a day since Team 8 had returned and things were getting back to normal with their training. While they were still doing their warm-up, however, a messenger bird flew to Kurenai, landed on her extended wrist, like the well-trained bird of prey it was, and Kurenai took a small message tied to its leg. After letting it go, she read it and called her team. Bad news, team. We're requested in another high-ranking mission. All other teams are out and we're the only team in Konoha that has a chance there. We have to go to the Hokage right now. Seems like a B to a rank mission. The team nodded and like a well-oiled machine packed up their training items and left for the Hokage's tower. In a hurry they made it to the Hokage's room, giving a small salute. The aged shinobi spoke to them. Yesterday as you were returning from your mission, Gen and Team 7 left for the Land of Waves. It is a small port village with a large economic potential. As of late, however, a businessman named Gatu, of Gatu Industries, took over as a tyrant. A man named Tazuna has taken up the job of building a bridge to unite said land with the mainland. This way they can get away from the economic stranglehold he has placed on the land. Obviously that doesn't sit well with Mr. Gatu, so he has hired some Nuke Nin to take out Tazuna. I sent Team 7 there before I found the existence of Nuke Nin. It seems, however, they have encountered a pair of Chunin ranked ones. Your job is to go there and support them. Since you are more experienced, you have command of the mission. Your mission is to protect Tazuna with the added option of taking out Gatu if possible. Do not leave incriminating evidence pointing towards Konoha in that case. I wish you best of luck. Gigi, can we have this written on an official scroll? Especially the fact where we have overall command of the mission. The Uchiha and his follower will not listen to us otherwise. As far as the mission goes, me and my team accept. It will be hard though, so we'll take a couple of hours to say our goodbyes if it is all right with you. Very well, Naruto-kun. Keep in mind that while I want you to support Team 7, you shouldn't overestimate yourselves. Return safely please. Team 8 nodded and left to their residences. Kurenai visited her friends Anko and Yugo, while Hinata said her goodbyes to her sister and father. While she did try to talk to her cousin Neji, his aloof behavior made it nigh impossible to do so. While Shino was talking to his clan, Naruto went to Iruka first and then to Anko. After 2 hours the team met at the gate and left immediately for Team 7's location. Meanwhile Anko went to the eldest Sarutobi to express her dislike at the mission. Poor man had to watch his Icha collection turn to mush by Anko's poisonous snakes. The mental strain required Inoichi to block the memory. Team 8 traveled quickly through the trees, Hinata scouting ahead with her Byakugan. During the past weeks of training, she had gotten over her extreme lack of self-esteem, which helped her grow in an amazing speed. Of course, having a sparring partner that could push you to the edge, not to mention having no fear of accidentally hurting him, helped. While she still wore her previous outfit, she had also expertly hidden a few surprises for those getting too close to her, such as a large amount of poisoned senbon needles in a seal on her wrists. Just a small touch of chakra and voila, one poisoned needle ready for firing. Her tonfa were sealed on her belt. In Shino's case, he had placed tracking bugs on his teammates as well as a few recording bugs. His commas were sealed in the inside of his coat. Naruto was using a small group of Kekkei Bunshin to move ahead of his team to draw any attacks on them. Other than his clothing, he was the only one with a backpack of some weight and size, packing his team's supplies and scrolls, including but not limited to medicinal supplies for Hinata, clothes, tents, food, extra weapons, a bingo book and one of Shino's bug experiments he was working on. He also had a couple of books in sealing and some sealing supplies to practice with. It was night when they got to Tazuna's house. Carefully they went to the door and knocked. A young woman opened the door. Naruto introduced himself and his team. Greeting Mom. I am Uzumaki Naruto, Taicho of Team 8 and a Recon, sealing and close quarters specialist. To my right is Hyuga Hinata, a Recon, medicine and secondary close quarters specialist. To my left is Aburame Shino, our strategist as well as Recon and long-range specialist. Behind us is Yuhi Kurenai, our Junin sensei and a long-range and support specialist. We have come to assist Team 7 in protecting Tazuna-san. May we come in? During the introductions the team members nodded. After he was done the woman introduced herself as Tsunami and let them in. As soon as that happened, Sakura, Sasuke and Kiba went up to them. Sasuke spoke first. What do you want here, losers? This is our mission, so get the fuck out of here and leave us alone. After all, you're all worthless trash compared to an Uchiha like me. Naruto sighed. Actually, this is our mission now. We have been sent by Sandaime-sama as the most experienced unit he could find in the short amount of time he could. Don't forget we have gone in hard missions before you, so sit down. In this scroll we have confirmation of taking over this mission, Uchiha, so sit down before I send you home. Got it? Sakura started shouting at Naruto. What the heck? This is our mission. Shut up, Naruto baka. Don't insult Sasuke-kun. He's so much better than you, you useless idiot. Her rant was abruptly stopped by a slap that came from Hinata of all people. Will you shut up, Haruno? We are taking over his mission, so shut the hell up, damn it. Kiba, have you guys set up a defensive perimeter or something? Sakura again interrupted. What defensive perimeter are you idiots talking about? Kiba just gave a negative answer. The ever-present Uchiha however asked them why they would need one in the first place. His presence alone would scare any enemies away. Team 8's thoughts however. What the, by Shino. Air. Okay, that's stupid, by Naruto. Are these people for real? By Hinata. Kakashi, either you suck as a sensei or these should be executed for sheer stupidity, by Kurenai. Naruto sighed before replying. A defensive perimeter is set up around your charge to make sure no one gets close. It seems this team has no idea what it is, much less how to create one. Very well, we will create one instead. Shino, Hinata-chan, let's do this. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto summoned a group of clones, while Shino placed tracking and recording bugs on them. Meanwhile, Hinata made sure the area was clear. Naruto's clones then went at equal distances in a short, tight circle around the house so their heat vision mode would not let anyone get close, hinged themselves to stones and small plants and waited just in case something happened. Kiba whistled at their cooperation. They didn't even need to speak with each other. Sasuke on the other hand went off to brood in a corner, with his faithful puppy named Sakura following. Kiba took Team 8 to Kakashi that was lying in a food in his sleep due to chakra exhaustion. Hinata immediately got to treating him, as she was the only one with medical knowledge, not to mention that due to her Byakugan she was capable of properly infusing him with small doses of chakra to jumpstart his system. It took her an hour, but in the end Kakashi wasn't in the coma-like slumber of chakra exhaustion but in a restful sleep. Hinata made a mental note to ask Naruto about a new technique that came to mind. He seemed to have a talent for these things if one went by account that he already had a pair of unique jutsu. Naruto and Shino in the meanwhile were being briefed about everything that had occurred. Tazuna and Tsunami told Team 8 of what Gato had put them through, the pain, the starvation, the fear they had experienced. The killing of their only hero. Naruto and his team were disgusted. They immediately agreed that they'd take out Gato no matter what. Such scum should not be allowed to live. Some hours later, after dinner, Team 8 held a strategy meeting with the only member of Team 7 that was willing to cooperate, namely Kiba and his nindog Akamaru. After hearing about every part of the battle, Shino concluded that Zabuza was alive, WTIH a Anbu level ally to boot. Considering that Kurenai was at a disadvantage against Zabuza and most probably his accomplice, their only way out of this safely was extra training. When Kiba made a move to suggest this to his team, Naruto shook his head. The Uchiha wouldn't agree and Sakura would follow or crush. While he could order them to do the training regime, if they didn't want to do it, it wouldn't do them any good. Besides, according to the team's medic, Kakashi should be up tomorrow, so he should be able to convince them to do it. Until then though, time was wasting, so Team 8 and Kiba went outside. At the Uchiha's demand to know what they were doing, they simply replied they were going scouting around. Outside, Naruto asked Kiba what training he had received. Seeing as he had no training at all, he started Kiba on tree walking. Alright Kiba, Akamaru, you've got to learn a basic chakra control exercise. It's called tree walking and as the name says, it allows you to walk on trees. Not climbing but actual walking, like so. With that Naruto demonstrated the exercise to Kiba, who looked odd. It is real simple actually. You have to pump a small amount of chakra in the soles of your feet and climb. Normally I'd say run up and mark your progress, but I personally suggest placing a foot after the next. You won't fall as many times this way. Hinata will help you with regulating your chakra. Akamaru, you should do it too. It'll help really. Once you complete this, if we have time we'll teach you water walking, otherwise we'll spar to get you up to shape. Kiba and Akamaru both picked a tree and started on it. While they made good progress, it was still slow, so Team 8 went to their individual practices. Shino went to the side and meditated on his bugs, creating a sphere of Kekkei, at which some Naruto clones started throwing weapons faster and faster. Shino then used the input of his insects to detect the attack and counter it with his Kama. Hinata and Naruto on the other hand squared off against each other. Kurenai set out to attempt to complete the exercise Kyuubi had made for her. She had to gather a lot of chakra and concentrate it to the point of it taking a liquid form. She almost had it down, but it was very draining. Thanks to that however, her own chakra reserves had increased, as had her already impressive chakra control. She had asked Kyuubi, through Naruto that is, if she could use a cage bunshin for it, but the ancient Biju replied that she had to learn it with her body, to the point of being able to do it without too much focus. Kurenai sighed after her attempts failed for the third time that night. Kyuubi was really a slave driver, very effective but a slave driver nonetheless. Next morning, Hitaki Kakashi woke up to the sound of people verbally tearing each other off. As he got up he saw the Hyuga heiress over him treating him with her Byakugan active. "Ohio Kakashi-san, how are you feeling?" she asked without stopping her treatment for a second, a treatment which consisted of using chakra bursts, much like Jayukin, to restore his chakra system. "Better already Hinata-san, I see that Sandame sent you and your team is back up. What's the fight down there for?" Hinata sighed a bit. It seems that Uchiha-san's pride simply doesn't let him get some things. He's been actually ordering Naruto-kun to teach him his jutsu. I wonder if Uchiha-san will survive the day this way. Naruto-kun is pretty annoyed. Anyway, here is some food you should have. I have healed most of your wounds and restored your chakra coils as much as I could. It is only a matter of time now to fully heal, and you should take it easy. Only very light exercise and chakra manipulation is allowed. No more than tree climbing for now. Otherwise the strain will hurt you. Now I'll leave you to get dressed. With that, Hinata left Kakashi to get dressed while she went downstairs to attempt and defuse the situation. Downstairs, Sasuke was yelling at the Dobi to show him his jutsu because he was undeserving of its power. Shino sighed. This was really annoying even for the stoic bug user. Kurenai on the side was ready to mentally mutilate Sasuke. She wasn't a morning person and yelling first thing in the morning really annoyed her, especially since she stayed out all night trying to complete her chakra manipulation. Naruto on the other hand was promptly ignoring Sasuke's existence and was cooking something for the morning. Kiba had gone out to hunt something if he could. Sakura was busy trying to get Kurenai to punish Naruto for ignoring her Sasuke-kun. That was the scene that greeted Hinata, who was also assaulted by Sakura about Naruto continuously ignoring her Sasuke-kun. After telling her to, in no uncertain terms, go hit a tree with her forehead, she too went to the kitchen to help Naruto prepare breakfast. Shino was busy speaking to his insect allies and coming up with the proper strategies to deal with the situation. This scene of chaos was the first thing Kakashi saw as he came down the stairs. He sighed. His team might look good on paper, but their teamwork was as non-existent as their patience. Sasuke was a power-hungry fool. Sakura had no knowledge outside her books and Kiba was always rushing head first. His smartest student was in fact Akamaru the nin dog. Poor puppy was pulling Kiba out of every trouble he got into. In relative silence, breakfast was served when Kiba came back with a pair of rabbits for lunch. It wasn't much though, since everyone who could hunt did so to feed their families, so game was scarce. After breakfast, Kakashi broke the news that Zabuza was in fact not dead. After his team got over their fear, he announced he'd be training them to fight Zabuza's ally. Naruto and his team looked at each other and agreed they'd be doing some training too when not guarding Tazuna and his workers. Meanwhile, Shino had made a basic schedule they'd follow. It was mainly shifts rotating to watch over Tazuna, using a code to be sure of the other's identity. In the meantime, they'd be practicing with each other in preparation of the fight, that is when they wouldn't be securing the area around them or sleeping. After pretty much ordering Team 7 to go train, Naruto followed Tazuna to his bridge, while leaving some clones at the house for protection. Once there, he summoned another bunch of clones and had them spread out to watch the area, while he made some more to help Tazuna after using henge to look like common people. Kakashi started his team on the tree-walking exercise and was between amusement and annoyance at Sasuke's reaction when Kiba surpassed him in it. Amused since it really was funny seeing the supposed number 1 elite Uchiha get trumped, and annoyed since he was pretty much ordering his own sensei to teach him jutsu using nothing but his family's name as incentive. Sakura on the other hand, despaired him. She didn't work out, fawned over the Uchiha and still clung to the fairy tale that her knight in white armor would save her every time. Team 8 proceeded with their plans and training in a separate area than Team 7. They had to, or there would be a very real danger of Sasuke and Sakura seeking revenge, each for their own reasons. As much as Naruto and his team might want to get a chance, any chance, at bringing Sasuke down a peg or two, it really wasn't the time for that. At lunch, Team 8 had the pleasure of meeting Inari, Q-Shiker from Kyuubi at the name, in all his brooding glory. Naruto sighed after his speech before he spoke. Is that all, Inari? Are you finished? Yeah, and what are you dumb blonde gonna do about it? You're all going to die. Are we really? You do not know us, kid. I don't know about Team 7 over there, but this is not our first mission. So how exactly are we going to die? Shut up. Gatu will kill you all. No one can kill him. He's got money. You don't know anything about us. You just butt in our business. You don't understand us. Guess that's true. I don't understand someone who lost his father because I never had one. Or a mother for that matter. I don't understand the pain of someone who eats 2 meals a day because some years ago I might have been lucky enough to scavenge enough trash to eat 1 meal every 2 or 3 days. I don't understand the pain of someone who can sleep at night and not run away from mobs of your own village trying to kill you. I don't understand the pain of someone who is as an idiot as you. You think I never felt pain? Fool. My whole village hates me apart from maybe 10 to 12 people. And that's a maybe. I've been hunted down, beaten upon, thrown out of the orphanage at 5 and had more assassination attempts on me than any cage. So yeah, I don't understand your pain. Little coward, what are you going to do? Sit there and cry about your fate or get up and face it like a man? I'm out of here. You make me sick. Maybe me and my team shouldn't take out Gato as is our mission. Maybe you cowards deserve him. With that, Naruto left the house, leaving a sobbing Inari, a freaked out Team 7 and a sad Team 8. Was it really that bad? Asked Tsunami. He actually sugar-coated it for you. Trust me, the worst you've been through is nothing compared to him. Yet he still holds on to his humanity. He's just that amazing, answered Kurenai. Will the Gaki be alright though? I mean, he doesn't seem to be coming back anytime soon? Tazuna looked worried. He had liked the kid. Anyo, I will go looking for him. He is just upset and Ann needs to vent a bit. With that, Hinata left to stalk. Spy. Look, yeah right, look for her crush. After activating her Byakugan, she left to look for him deeper in the forest. True to Hinata's prediction, Naruto was at a small clearing venting on some poor trees. Naruto seemed pretty pissed off. Naruto-kun, Inari-san didn't know, please calm down. I know Hinata-chan, I know, I just don't know who I am angrier at. Inari or Gato. Naruto slowly stopped punching the tree. He had already created dents and holes in virtue of his claws. Naruto-kun, and not everyone is you. Inari-san is just a kid. A sheltered kid who lost everything he knew of. I know Hinata-chan. It's just so, it reminds me of my past, how I felt. Hinata hugged Naruto, who visibly tensed for a bit before relaxing. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I'll be there for you. You are not alone anymore. Arigato, Hinata-chan. You really are my savior. Naruto whispered the last part. After the conversation, the two fell asleep with one of Naruto's heavier coats covering them. In the morning, Naruto woke up early to the sounds of the forest. After seeing Hinata hugging him, he purred softly before going back to sleep, content smile on his face. That was the scene that greeted Haku as he had gone foraging for herbs to help Zabuza. A pair of kids hugging each other asleep. Seeing their Hite 8 though, Haku frowned. They were Konoha ninja, which meant they had been sent to back up the other team. This was bad. They had to be eliminated. Haku tried to kill his emotions and do the deed, but couldn't. Sighing, he woke them up. Hello you two. What are you doing here? You could get cold. Nah, we're fine. Wasn't really cold last night. Besides, I've left some clones watching out for us. If something had happened, I'd have known. Clones? You are ninja then? You have headbands too. Hi, we are ninja of Konoha. We were hired to protect the B-bridge builder. I see. So what were you doing here? I was here venting from last night. Damn cowards giving up so easily. Sigh. Hinata-chan, go to Kurenai-sensei. I'll be there for training as soon as I clean up this place a bit. Hi Naruto-kun. Training? What do you train for? You seem pretty strong already if you did this all. Yeah, I'm strong, but not strong enough. I need to get stronger. Much stronger. But why? What reason do you have to get stronger? Hey, I'm a person that's hated. So if I want to be with my friends, I have to be strong enough to protect them. Even if it costs my life, I won't let them get hurt. So you have precious people? Naruto looked melancholic. Yeah, few of them, but they are very important. You have such people too, right? Is that why you are gathering herbs? Haku looked at her basket. Yes. I have to help him since he saved me from my hell. Naruto gave a sad smile. Remembering his past always saddened him, even though now he could look at it with pride. He had survived it, he had not fallen to the darkness around him. So why were you hated? In my case, it was something that happened at birth and reminded a lot of people their dead loved ones. I come from water country, and my family had a bloodline. It never manifested in me and I didn't receive shinobi training, but my mother had it, so my father tried to kill us both. They and a mob that had gathered died that day. I lived alone until my precious person came along and gave me a purpose to exist. I see. We are more alike than you think, Nei-san. Anyway, what is your name? I am Uzumaki Naruto. Haku. Just Haku. Pleased to meet you. And I am a boy. Hee, not according to my nose, even though you are good at hiding it. I do understand you hiding it though. Especially with that creep Gatu's thugs around. Anyway, I'll be late for training, so I got to go. If you want, you can meet us again here tomorrow morning. My team is pretty open-minded, so you shouldn't worry about things. I think I will, Naruto-san. Thank you. After saying their goodbyes, the two parted, Haku going to gather more herbs for Zabuza, all the while thinking about the weird blonde. They would have to fight soon. Haku sighed. She hated fighting and especially killing. How she wished there would be a note her way for them to solve this. She had finally found a friend, not master like Zabuza, but a friend that could understand her, and in less than a week they would fight to the death. Haku's sadness didn't escape Zabuza's notice. He didn't find out why, but when Haku asked to be excused for tomorrow morning, he allowed it. Wouldn't do her any good anyway to stay in Gatu's place, and Zabuza wasn't exactly defenseless either. The next day Haku did meet up with Team 8. After being introduced to the team, she took special interest to the quiet boy named Shino. For some reason he intrigued her. Whether it was the fact that he revealed little of himself, or the way he held himself, or the way he spoke, she didn't know. He seemed weird but not uncomfortable. She even realized that he had shut himself emotionally from most people in order to not get hurt by them, rather than being generally antisocial. Kurenai also seemed interesting. Even though she never hid her feminine qualities, she was strong and unafraid. Something very few kunoichi, especially young ones, could claim. Haku was told a few things from all members of Team 8, such as what happened the day Naruto was born, though nothing of the seal was ever mentioned, the way Hinata was treated by her own father, and Shino's loneliness when it came to people outside his clan. Unfortunately, Haku also had the bad luck of meeting Team 7. While glad that neither Kakashi or Kiba recognized her, she was angered by the other two team members. Kiba might have been a bit too straightforward in his advances towards a cute girl, as he put it, but it was nothing compared to the other two. When Sasuke found out Haku had a latent bloodline, he practically demanded she be given to him as a way of strengthening the Sharingan. Of course, this caused Sakura to repeatedly screech and insult her for stealing her Sasuke-kun. No matter how many times Haku refused to accept Sasuke's rather foolish proposals. In the end, Sasuke was punished by Shino, who disabled them both with his Kekkei bugs. Despite these two, however, Haku had a good time, perhaps one of the few happy times in the tired Oinin's life. It caused her that much more grief too, that she would have to fight them soon. If only something could have worked out. Haku didn't sleep well the next days, dreading the day she would have to fight and possibly kill again. Zabuza noticed it, but when he inquired his ally, the only thing he got was Haku's insistence to abandon the job and just leave. Zabuza of course did not accept this. He was a proud shinobi and would see to it to the end, his honor demanded no less. That night Haku slept lightly, not once letting go of Team 8's gift to her. A tiny stylized silver pendant in the shape of a snowflake. It took Naruto, Shino and Hinata a long time to make it, and it wasn't that expensive. It was, however, something that Haku treasured. Finally, the morning Haku dreaded came. Stealing her heart, she showered, ate an early breakfast and got ready for the fight against her friends. It was time for Haku the friend to fade away and Haku the shinobi to emerge. It was time for battle and blood. Naruto woke up with a start. Something was wrong today. Naruto woke up his team before sun up. They had to speak and prepare. Naruto-kun, what's up? Asked Hinata as she was preparing breakfast. Why waste time after all? Hinata-chan, I have this nasty feeling. You said that Kakashi-san has recovered today, right? Hi Naruto-kun. He recovered completely yesterday. He should be in T-top form today. Then Shino, from today on, we stop training. Most probably Zabuza has recovered as well. If he was placed in a death state, it should take some time to recover, and depending on a medic nen, he could be ready to fight soon. That is correct, Naruto-san. I came to this conclusion myself. The two teams must split between guarding Tazuna-san and his family. After all, it would not be above Gatu or Zabuza to take Tsunami-san and Inari-san as bait for our contractor. A hostage situation would throw in a number of twists in our actions. I suppose Team 7 should go to the bridge while we stay here and possibly support them. We can cover the ground faster than them, should they need our assistance, not to mention the fact that we have already established a defensive perimeter here that will work only for us. I see. Well, we can either hope that Team 7 will cooperate with us, or I'll send a clone to watch out for them so in case they have trouble we'll know. Now that I think about it, I'll send the clone anyway. Never hurts to prepare. Anyway team, weapons and equipment check first thing after breakfast. Wouldn't be fun to be caught without weapons or equipment. Slowly the rest of the Konoha forces woke up and prepared. After Shino warned them, something Sasuke and Sakura all but ignored, Kakashi took his team and left with Tazuna. Truthfully, the man wanted Team 8 with him, but he understood that the bespectacled kid had a plan and knew better. Besides, it seemed like Cyclops was a respected shinobi. No, it was the cocky brat and the pink-haired one. Is that even normal, he asked himself quite often, that he didn't quite trust. Naruto secretly sent a couple of Hengid clones with Kakashi, since the man understood what had to be done. Should trouble appear, a clone would dispel, letting Naruto know, and in case Kakashi and the rest were captured, the backup clone would dispel as well, after a time letting Naruto track them down. After a hearty breakfast, at least for Kiba and Sasuke, as Sakura was once again on a diet, Team 7 left for the bridge. It had been only a couple of hours since Team 7 left when the defensive perimeter was triggered by a pair of Ronin. After being neutralized by Naruto's clones, Team 8 interrogated them. They said they were going to kidnap Tsunami and use her to force Tazuna to give up. Naruto nodded to Hinata and the two sped off to the bridge. Shino stayed back to protect the family since he was best suited at fighting a large amount of weak enemies. At the bridge, Sasuke and Kiba were doing their best to survive Haku's demonic ice mirrors. Akamaru being out for the count, albeit alive, Kiba was doing his best to protect his packmate. Said packmate, however, wasn't as protective of Kiba and Sasuke, being Sasuke, constantly charged the Oi Nin that had trapped them, instead of trying to stall for time as Kiba had suggested. When all of a sudden Sasuke could actually see Haku's movements and his eyes turned red, Sasuke was filled with pride. He had activated his Sharingan. Now all the power was in his grasp. Or well, he thought that before a couple of Senbon were launched from behind him, hitting him in the neck. Since Sasuke hadn't helped Kiba at all, the Inuzuka had been disabled waist down, so when Sasuke let his guard down, Haku took him out as well. The new Nin still hated killing, she only disabled, and that was what she was going to do to Kiba when Hinata appeared blocking the Senbon with her Tonfa, Byakugan blazing. Hinata was really worried about Kiba, and to a lesser extent Sasuke. He was after all a Konoha shinobi, no matter how much of a jackass he was. None of that concerned her right now. It was time to focus on her enemy, for her and her friend's sakes. Why did you betray us? Haku-san? The hunter Nin's head slightly dropped. I have no choice, Hinata-san. For Zabuza-sama I must do it. He is my precious person. But why him of all people? Because he saved me when I was alone. Because I am now Zabuza-sama's tool. As a tool I must do my job and defeat you. Forgive me. With these words Haku charged at Hinata, trying to hit her pressure points to disable her. Hinata for her part used her Byakugan to see the attacks and her trusty Tonfa to block them. In a dance that took Kiba's breath away, Hinata dodged and parried her way through Haku's seemingly endless reserves of Senbon. It went on for a couple of minutes, and that was Hinata's plan. It seemed these mirrors took a large amount of chakra from Haku. So if she could stall enough, Haku's jutsu would run out and her speed would revert to manageable levels, with the added benefit of low chakra. Haku could feel her reserves draining fast. This jutsu was supposed to take out an enemy fast, it wasn't suited for extended fights. Yet if she dropped it, Hinata would definitely take it to melee, and a Hyuga in melee was a very bad thing. Haku kept her mirrors until she could no longer support them. When they finally crumbled, Haku touched the ground exhausted. Before a word could be uttered, Hinata charged and landed a couple of strikes on Haku's arms with her Tonfa, dislocating her shoulders. Hinata looked at Haku in sympathy. She only was looking out for her precious person. Missing Nin or whatever, she wasn't evil. She should not be killed for someone else's deeds. Haku-san, if you don't like what Zabuza does, then change him. You're his only friend. If you really care for him, then change him. I won't pretend to understand why you follow him, but I too have a precious person in Naruto-kun. He is kind and caring, but sometimes he gets angry at everyone. I don't help him hurt those that anger him, instead I calm him down. Because I care for him I will change him. I remind Naruto-kun that he is no monstead no matter what others say, and he listens. Haku-san, if Zabuza cares about you and deserves your care, then he will listen. You must speak to him though, Haku-san. Trust me, I know what happens to those that fall to their anger. They become hateful, bigoted beings, wanting nothing but destruction, wasting their existence in meaningless squabbles. You don't want that, right? Then show him there is another path, Haku-san. If you care for him, then help him out of his own hate. You do not understand, Hinata-san. No one does. Zabuza saved me when I was hated by everyone. When my father killed my own mother and then attempted to kill me. When I was hated because of my blood. When I was all alone. Zabuza-sama made me feel needed. I must help him. Exactly. You must help him. Help him out of his hate. Show him another path. Don't worry, I will ask Naruto-kun to arrange sanctuary for you too, but only if you change him, Haku-san. It is the only way to be truly happy. Besides, I understand you somewhat. I am hated by my family too, always talked down to, always someone telling me I was a failure, my father never caring about me, my cousins hating me. Naruto-kun helped me, and I helped Naruto-kun when he became lonely. Zabuza needs a friend or a daughter, Haku-san. Not a tool, but a person. He simply doesn't know it. I can fight no more. Please take me to Zabuza-sama. If I see you speak the truth, I will follow your advice. Hinata helped Kiba up and the trio went to see the Junin fight. Kakashi had been fighting Zabuza for some time with Kurenai's aid. Between the fog, Zabuza and protecting the bridge builder, Kakashi had his hands full and so did Kurenai. Suddenly, as Kakashi missed a block and saw the blade come for his head, Naruto jumped from the fog and kicked it aside. Zabuza cursed and fell back. Kakashi-san, pull back. Unlike you, I can fight perfectly in this fog. Kurenai-sensei, guard Tazuna-san. Pretty cocky words from a brat. I wonder if you can uphold them. I can and I will, Zabuza-san. Why do you fight? Why do you obey scum like Gato and let them rule you? Why lower yourself from the respected position of the seven swordsmen to support a traitorous scumbag like Gato? I need the money, brat. Something you can't understand, having lived comfortably in your little happy village. I need the money to overthrow that bastard Mizukage. I don't understand? You'd be surprised. Let me show you the truth. Naruto called his claws forth and charged Zabuza. Kurenai, seeing that, placed a genjutsu to cover the two warriors from the genin. The two warriors charged at each other, killer intent becoming another aspect of their fight, like a child's tug-o-war that would kill the losing team at a moment's notice. Zabuza sent a downward chop at the incoming Naruto, who used his claws to parry it to the side, then put said claws on the back of the blade to leap over it, sending a kick at Zabuza's face. Zabuza on his part pulled back his head, spun, ripping the weapon off the ground and coming in for another slash at Naruto, who rolled under it and away from a kick from Zabuza. You think I don't understand? I've been hunted down by my own village for something I couldn't control, on my own birthday since I can remember myself. I got a fucking demon sealed inside my gut, and since I was 1 day old I had a damn pedophilic hawk trying to make me lose control so he could make me his own personal bitch. Y'all think you're the only one with a harsh life? Spare me your sobbing story and open your eyes. There are always some who had it worse, Zabuza. Naruto charged yet again, claws extended, going in for the kill. He and his enemy clashed again and again, sparks flying, neither combatant giving the other the slightest advantage, for that would prove a lethal mistake. Both locked into a deadlock, grunting as they pushed to gain that little advantage that would ensure their survival, their eyes locked with each other. Both then realized that somehow, at some point, the reason for the fight had become obsolete, and now they were fighting because they wanted to. Because their instincts cried out to each other, urging them, pushing them to fight harder and harder, to prove their ultimate superiority as warriors. Winning or losing didn't matter anymore, only the fight, only the sheer exhilaration of facing an enemy that will kill you at the slightest flaw. Time slowed down for the two warriors, as if each clang of blade against concrete and claw against metal had its own unimaginably special significance, as if missing a single spark that flew from the meeting of the warriors would make the difference between life and death. Zabuza had finally pushed Naruto back, limiting his evasive capabilities. With a mighty heave he sent his cleaver straight at Naruto, who used his claws to block. Kurenai and Kakashi were mesmerized at the fight, Kurenai even dropping the genjutsu at a point. Zabuza pushed down at Naruto, Kabikari Honcho grinding at Black Claws, while Naruto used his strength to keep it away from him. Sparks flew until the perfect balance was broken. Naruto's claws broke. Naruto kicked the ground, launching himself away from Zabuza, barely escaping death, instead getting only a long gash on his left side from the massive cleaver. Kakashi made to help but Kurenai held him back. Kakashi nodded once. Naruto had to do this, it was his fight. Unnoticed to the two Junin, or perhaps they had noticed yet didn't react, Hinata and Haku were watching the fight. Haku had never seen Zabuza so free, so unrestrained, so completely devoted to a fight. Naruto glared at Zabuza. Inside his mind Kyuubi roared. It was time. Naruto closed his eyes as Kyuubi's voice echoed. Observe, evolve, overcome. Observe, evolve, overcome. Observe, evolve, overcome. Naruto started mouthing the mantra. Observe, evolve, overcome. Naruto's determination once more burst through as he opened his eyes. Zabuza held back a breath. These eyes. So human and yet so powerful. Naruto's voice rose in intensity. Observe, evolve, overcome. Something started changing inside Naruto. Something he hadn't felt for years came back to him and he smiled. He knew what it was. He was changing again. Observe, evolve, overcome. With a final cry Naruto's hands shifted in a new, previously unknown shape, as Naruto swung his new arms in a deadly flourish, reminiscent of a pair of infinity symbols in front of him, grinding his blades together in the end. Blades? Yes. His arms now were completely different. His forearm had been covered with what looked like bone plates to protect it with wicked serrations running on the outside rim. From his wrist extended nearly 60 centimeters long, wickedly curved blades obviously sharp on both sides, edges glinting malevolently. On the other side of each forearm were smaller blades, only 15 centimeters long. Nice going, kid. Looks like you got another power. Looks much sturdier than your claws, even though the weight is going to slow you down. Now take down the ninja that defied us. I'm on a queue. Hades seem fun. Looks like I'm picking up Anko's bloodthirst. Let's do this. Zabuza, as well as the crowd watching the fight, were all stunned by the new change. Damn it, brat, what the hell are you? I thought I told you already, Zabuza. I am Konoha's demon brat. I am Kyuubi's jailer, executioner and salvation. This is the power I grasped with my own two hands thanks to the idiots who confuse a kunai with the scroll it's sealed in. Naruto smirked ferally. But none of this matters. All that matters is this fight. Shall we continue? The two combatants faced off against each other once more, sparks flying more wildly than before. Zabuza saw that he now held the advantage, as Naruto had obviously only just learned how to do that with his hands, but he saw and knew that the advantage would wear off soon as Naruto got more and more used to it. He knew he should feel fear or at least be slightly intimidated, but as Naruto said, it didn't matter. Only the fight mattered, the spilling of the enemy's blood, the sound of flesh being torn apart, the pain of muscles nearly tearing themselves apart trying to comply with their owner's requests. Zabuza almost laughed in exhilaration. He would honor this opponent no matter what. He just wished one of them wouldn't have to die this day. He really wanted this guy as a sparring partner. One look in Naruto's eyes and he knew the brat had come to the same conclusions. Had one watched from above, unbound by the restrictions reality places upon everyone, he would have seen two warriors, so much the same as they were different at the same time, communicating wordlessly. He would see and understand the bond the two combatants now shared, a bond that formed only when one fought and understood someone perfectly. It was a moment of pure understanding where gaps of age or birth or training didn't matter. Only the soul resonating with another. Unfortunately, this moment was broken by a malicious laugh. A laugh belonging to a short, midget of a man, in an expensive tuxedo and his army of lackeys. The warriors stopped and looked at the intruder of their perfect moment. Well done, Zabuza-chan. Well done in tiring them out. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be needing your services any longer. You missing shinobi are so expensive. This small army of Ronin is cheaper than you and your bitch. Zabuza snarled at this. And will have the pleasure of killing you getting me the money of your bounty. Hey, just kill the men. The girls will sell nicely, especially the red-eyed one and the one with the white eyes. Exotic fare like this is. Gatu. Naruto started emitting a red chakra around him. Killer intent unlike anything the poor man, no prey had ever felt before. I would have let Zabuza here kill you quickly, but I don't think I'm going to be so kind. I'll take care of you personally. Zabuza, Kakashi, how about a small competition? Winner gets a favor from the other two. Sure brat, haven't had a challenge in I don't know 20 seconds? Why not? They are scum that will come back if we don't deal with them. Very well, the deal is made. Gato, your soul is forfeit. Ninpo. Nibai Kitsune Kachiyose no Jutsu. Cage to K's, Ninja Art. Double Kitsune summoning technique Cage and K's. Naruto used his elongated fangs to nick the thumb of both hands he had reformed while speaking to Gato and placed them on the ground. Two puffs of smoke later, a pair of kitsune stood there. One was a black-colored, three-tailed, red-eyed kitsune about as large as a small horse. On the other side stood a two-tailed kitsune, this one blue and white-tipped, with nearly glowing blue eyes. The black one spoke first. Who do you want me to kill today, Uzumaki? To be followed by the white-blue one. Yay, Naruto-sama called me again. So? What do you want us to do? Huh? Cage go with Kakashi, K's with Zabuza. Time for slaughter. Leave none alive. The two foxes jumped to their respective charges, while their summoner reformed his weaponry. Cage literally jumped into Kakashi's shadow, the shadow that became twice as thick as before, almost as if it was absorbing light. K's on the other hand leapt to Zabuza's side, yipped a couple of times as he started running around him, faster and faster, becoming progressively invisible, covering Zabuza in what seemed like a cloak of wind. Though an experienced wind user would realize it was an armor made of wind blades, one strong enough to block next to any physical assault. All three shinobi grinned ferally. Well, Kakashi seemed to grin, one could never tell with that mask of his. The three shinobi charged at the throng of enemies ahead. Or Naruto charged through them while his allies, who obviously didn't share his suicidal tendencies, chose to take on their enemies few at a time. Naruto charged straight on, jumped forward, rotating his body mid-flight, putting his blades in front, in effect making a corc screw rush with his head protected by his blades, creating a drill of blood and gore. As the rotation slowed, Naruto lashed out with his two-bladed arms before slamming one down and using it to rotate himself once more, lashing out with both his legs and the blade of his free hand, killing more as he slashed or kicked hard enough to break their spines and necks. Jumping from that, Naruto made a backward jump, stabbing a pair of unfortunate fools with the blades on the back of his forearms. Immediately reversing his movement, Naruto took a couple of steps forward, impaling another pair of enemies on his arms. Feeling the blood flow freely on his hands, Naruto freed himself of the soon-to-be corpses, turned to the next batch of enemies to continue the slaughter. Kakashi was having an easy time fighting. Despite the lack of training, the bandits were many, but the kitsune partner all but negated that. The scarred ally jumped out of the shadows to bite a neck or hand or leg or weapon to protect Kakashi. The one-eyed Junin soon found himself appreciating the help, especially when the fox saved him from what would be certain death by decapitation by impaling the poor fool with what seemed tendrils made out of shadow matter. Zabuza on the other hand was having fun. His wind armor made him next to invulnerable against these fools, so he was pretty much going all-out offensive on the bandits. He too seemed to enjoy his kitsune ally and the immunity it provided. That blonde Gaki sure knew his summons. Now if only the damned fox would stop that annoying giggling. Kurenai, Haku and Hinata. Sakura had rushed to her Sasuke-kun and started crying, watched in morbid fascination at the slaughterhouse the bridge had turned into. Gato was scared shitless. This was impossible. He was Gato of the Gato Industries. He was not supposed to die in this no-name village by a no-name brat and his own tools. It was preposterous, and that terrified him. Naruto kept up his dance of death, body parts and weapon pieces flying through the air by the veritable tornado of death the blonde child had become. Blood flowed freely, covering the stench of human excretions with its coppery scent, making the ground slippery, more so by the bodies and missing body parts that littered the area. Screams of terror, pain and death resounded through the blood-spattered abattoir that would free this country. Man stepped on man, man stabbed man, man killed man, painting a surreal image of death and blood. So much blood. Naruto had long since started pushing chakra into his blades, increasing sharpness and length, making a most unrealistic image. A child that was completely covered in blood and gore. yet the most deadly part of said boy was free of the life-giving essence that covered it. A blur even to Junin, Naruto didn't even bother dodging. He just went in for the kill, feeling clubs break on his bones and spears refuse to injure him. He made a rapid spin, blade extended, opening, carving, a bloody path through his enemies, slowly reaching his prey. The same prey that had threatened his friends and allies. The same prey that he would enjoy killing in a most horrific manner. The only kill he would enjoy. Gato was petrified. This was no human in front of him, this was no being of flesh and blood. It ate the flesh of others and drank the blood of the dead. And these eyes. These terrifying, damning eyes. These eyes, slitted and red. Gato couldn't tear his eyes from the thing that would take his life. He watched as kill by kill, second by second, death approached him. He could only look at his death approach him, the vision of a demon overlapping with his killer. Like a deer in front of headlights, like a mouse hypnotized by the snake that would eat it, Gato merely watched. Naruto had finally reached his prey. What a pathetic ninja to threaten his precious people. He stalked at his enemy, this pathetic fool. Kyuubi's Yukai gathered at this hands turned blades, forming a red, shimmering shell of vile energy. The energy flared, as if rejoicing, as the right blade ripped into Gato's stomach. Gato screamed in raw terror and pain as the energy burned his insides, a pain unlike anything he had ever felt or imagined. He felt every vein in his body flow with fire instead of blood, his insides melting and reconfiguring, his skin flay, his bones shatter and his muscles tear themselves apart. Gato's entire world was pain. Naruto watched with hateful eyes as his enemy died slowly, feeling pain most beings would be unable to comprehend. As his prey died, Naruto looked back at his friends and allies. The bandits lay dead, cut with kunai, zanbatsu or bladed arm, their blood painting the river below them red. Naruto spread his bladed arms to the side and roared, screamed to the heavens. His cry became strangled and harsh, his strength left him and he fell on his knees, hands reverting to their original form. Hinata was the first to break ranks and dashed to her Naruto, catching him as he fell, gently laying him on her lap. Hinata ran her hands on Naruto's hair, reminding him she was there for him and the red, malignant glow of the Kyuubi faded away. Kakashi turned to Zabuza and Haku, making sure they wouldn't turn on them while Kurenai and a newly arrived Shino rushed to Naruto's side. Inari and the villagers he had gathered had come right on time for Naruto's victorious, or was it sorrowful, scream. Naruto's world was racked in pain, as Kyuubi's power receded to the seal and he could hear the ancient being draw his attention to something. He didn't know what, he didn't care. All he wanted was to sleep, just to close his eyes and sleep. Naruto's body tensed before Hinata's terrified eyes. He started bleeding from the pores of his skin, from his eyes and nose, blood coming out of his mouth. Mere seconds later a spasm overtook Naruto's body. Quickly falling to her limited medical training, Hinata activated the few diagnostic jutsu she knew one after the other as her team gathered around her. Naruto started shivering and trembling, occasionally his body jerking and everyone around could see the strain on the body to merely stay alive. Hinata was baffled. Her few diagnostic jutsu gave her contradicting results. Closing her eyes she remembered everything she could about Naruto's affliction and status. Surprised she opened her eyes, fear written all over her face. She turned to the questioning looks of her team. It's Kyuubi's chakra. Remember that Naruto-kun's Odi became unstable after being exposed to an amount of it. What if it's happening again, but this time it's worse? It's finishing the job it already started. Naruto-kun's body is falling apart, and I don't know anything that could help him. Hinata's voice was a barely audible whisper by the end, sorrow stealing her courage, vitality and strength. Her Naruto-kun was fading away in her hands. Haku had got the last part and went to Hinata's side. Sure, neither were fully trained medic nins, but maybe together they could keep him alive. After all, Zabuza-sama had asked her to. Asked her, not ordered her. Green chakra flared and the two medics started working on their patient, new wounds opening mere moments after the previous was closed and hope was draining as fast as their ever-diminishing chakra reserves. That's all for now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.